Talk, 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 talk.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
What?
The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
But that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, tell Tim Sheridan that.
Tim Sheridan is a
blocked
clown,
yet.
and I will let more people know about that.
I'm not blocked yet. I do.
Oh, not yet. You will be.
You will be.
Not yet.
You will be.
I hope so. Yeah, I got heavy suspicions about this guy, but you can't say it, because he has this slander or whatever. You know, just some of the things he said in his old stuff. All I can say is, maybe the Fed should get his computer and look at it. That's all I gotta say.
We don't want to know what he's looking on his computer about or on.
Well, I don't want to know. I want the Feds.
What's he doing on his computer? No.
Yeah. Who is Tim Sheridan? He's a nobody.
Tim Sheridan, yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to this edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, along with Baron Orman Tagge, Gas Money 007. Yep. I am your host, Mike, and we are blocked by Tim Sheridan. Who the hell is he?
Well, I might not be, but the thing is you got blocked for no reason.
You
didn't do anything. You didn't do anything, but I'm working on it. So if I get blocked, I'll be more noble than you. Yeah, I am. I'm virtual signaling here, but yeah, little soy Jack, and his. Let's make everything. Let's make everything rainbow.
Yay!
Because I am age flexible. What does that sound like, folks? This is off his own thing. He says, I'm age flexible.
Yep.
Wow, that sounds a little...
That sounds like a red flag to me, dude.
That sounds suspicious there, Timmy boy. Huh, Timmy?
Yeah.
And yes, Timmy! I know you're like, why are people giving me... They hate me. They're giving me attention. See, I'm the victim here, right, Timmy? We know Timmy.
Well, I don't hate him.
Tim,
I don't hate him.
I don't hate you. I don't even know you. I really legitimately don't know who you are.
And the reason that I made a comment to you is because you decided to block my friends. That's not cool, man. It's not cool. Nobody knows you, and you just seem to be a little petulant child. Want to go cry in the corner and need your binky.
If anything,
you're a grown man, dude.
Talk to him about his masterpiece Transformers he had on his shelf.
Yeah, see, Mike would have talked about his Transformers and his Transformers. We
would have talked about which masterpiece Transformers he had, which ones I have, and
yeah. But as Billy Madison said, "You blew it."
Yeah. No, not only that.
There's common ground here, Tim. You're assuming that everybody who follows a certain channel thinks the same way. No, we're all individuals. We all think differently. You think Baron and Cash think the same way I do? Hell no.
No.
Thank God. You don't want to think like me, trust me. Well, no, and that's just it. It's called, I'm subscribed to stuff on Facebook or Twitter, whatever, stuff I don't believe in. Why? Well, you got to see what other people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be in your friggin' bubble. But that's what these people are. They figure if you walk outside the bubble, you somehow are the enemy. God, this man looks like a soy Jack. Oh, God, he's a soy Jack. I'm just looking through his channel here. And, this guy's SOY, all capital letters. And he's only obsessed about one thing. Gay. That's all it is. I'm just looking through.
That's what a lot of comic book writers and television movie writers nowadays are obsessed with. Oh, this character's got to be gay. We got to have a gay character. Why not just have a character who we see go through their trials and tribulations? And
well, that's just it. and they're wondering why mainstream comics are dying. DC is dying comics.
Dude, once again, I don't know how many times we have to beat that drum, but the reality is also that, look, if you want to make a gay or trans character in your comic, make a new one. And when you make a new one, you don't have to make them flamboyant and all this. You can just make them cool. There's been gay characters that are cool before. It doesn't matter. Just like you could make a trans character, just make sure there's stepping stones. Like, I don't understand. Give people a reason why this character is interesting. Give them a few reasons. It doesn't make any sense. People always want to sit here and say you hate this race or you hate this gender or you hate this. No. Just make a cool character. It's so ridiculous. But you guys always have to go and take it to the extreme. It doesn't need to be extreme. He has to be flamboyant. He has to be this. It's just like when people say that flamboyant people don't exist. They do.
They do. They do. And I know we have it up there that says blocked by Tim Shirt and who's Tim Shirt. And well, the same thing could be said about us. Not very many people know about who we are, except if you subscribe to the channel on YouTube or follow the channel on Rumble.
We're not a bunch of narcissists.
Everybody knows.
Well, maybe Baron is, but
I am.
Oh, okay.
I am. Yeah.
Okay. 1 out of the 3 is a narcissist.
Yep.
Now you can start your blocked by Baron Tagge.
But of course, the question is always, who is Evil Pop or Doc Pop? Where is Evil Doc Pop?
He's not here right now. He's not here right now. He will be here Halloween night.
Who is Mike? Where is Mike? When is Mike? Yes. I hear that's been going around with me lately, so I just had to bring it back.
Extinction to all traitors!
No, but that's reading through his body.
Let's give folks a little backstory. Last night, Paul wanted to play some Myth Force. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Myth Force. And Phil was with him, and I get this invite to the game. I wasn't planning on playing the game. It's like, okay, I probably should go. He's invited me, and I'll go. I'll show up for a little bit, and we played, and he made me the red shirt.
Of course,
but that's okay. That's okay. I do want to say hello to everybody who is in here in the chat on the YouTube side. I don't see anybody over on the Rumble side yet, but if you're there lurking, say hello. We don't bite. Well, maybe Baron does. But of course, and Baron's already given me some orders. We need more custom PACIFIC414 emojis. I'm working on them.
Yeah.
So pushy, man.
You should make one of that handsome Baron. The Pacific 414.
That doesn't seem right, Baron. No, to the minors. What is this, baseball?
And then, of course, we have our soap opera writer.
Yes.
Big Daddy T-Gap. Yeah, it's no longer T-Gap Steve every time you come here. It's Big Daddy T-Gap.
T-Cat.
No, T-Gap. T-Gap.
We need some soap opera music for when we talk about this.
Fine. Next time I get in here, I'll find some tracks that like soap opera tracks, and I'll upload them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right now we just have a bunch of sound bites.
Well, we got 2 music things. We got Invitation to the Castle and Doogie Wood. Dookie Wood. Beach Disco by Dookie Wood. Yeah.
But T-Gap says previously on Beverly Hills 414. Baron turned the corner, whistling to himself, seemingly unaware while waiting for his prey. The atomic wedgie bandit was sure to strike. He did his best not to pucker when someone got behind him.
That was that Tim guy. That was Tim Sheridan.
Actually, I wonder if that's copyright if we sing that. Okay, anyways.
It probably is like every other piece of music.
Whatever. All right.
It was
I'm
almost a
copyright.
relief when he felt pressure on his behind. Sorry, for a second, till his slacks suddenly rushed to give his boys a divorce. A voice whispered in his ear, "Tricky, but not enough." Okay, this is going to a weird place.
Yeah.
Even as Baron went around to try and lay hands on the bandit, he realized the man was gone. Tell Crypto I'm coming for the bankroll in his boxers. The voice echoed about the alleyway. Yeah, this is getting weird.
This is getting weird, man.
Yeah, I bet you that's Phil.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Accepting the out of network fees on his money transfer was as brutal as getting his kidneys massaged with a jackhammer, but Crypto had no choice. Really, Cash? I don't know that that's necessarily the best way of helping out your kidneys.
I don't know, man. That seems violent.
Yeah. I think it would cause more damage to your kidneys than good. Just as soon as he finished, the incomplete transaction notifications began to chime. Well, sometimes that happens on Pop Talk. Mike wasn't God. Mike wasn't having the same success. He had made the mistake of pronouncing Officer Donut as Officer Donut, and had compounded the issue even if donuts did sound rather tasty. Let me know this, T-Gap, or Big Daddy T-Gap. Is Officer Donut cute? Is she cute? Is she? I mean, I might have been mesmerized by her beauty.
Did you gender swap her T-Cap? Huh? Is that what happened?
Well,
you can tell us the truth.
If you Dolly from the waist up and Ron Jeremy from the waist up.
Oh, it's a dude. Oh, come on. Oh, he can tow away the vet. I don't care about the vet.
You know, what is this? A bad script of Reno 911 or something? T-Cap, huh? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Says, can Baron warn them in time to save them from the atomic wedgie bandit? Well, it's Phil McCracken, so
yeah.
Can Mike save his vet from being towed and avoid driving the Porsche again? I wouldn't have any issues driving the Porsche. T-Gap, I wouldn't. And if the Corvette is towed, would Crypto pay for his share of the cab fare? Kenny needs a tight wad.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for today's episode of Beverly Hills 414 after these messages.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
Hey, dudes are lonely. Call 199 Anonymous. Only bears and excessively hairy men need apply. Oh boy, this has gotten very weird this morning.
Wow, man, that's something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Remember, kids, Ember the Firefox says that you may prevent forest fires, but sometimes that bitch has got to burn.
They're not going to say bitch on the.
No. T-Gap, you okay, man? You okay?
Wow, dude,
Did you not sleep well last night?
Yeah, seriously.
Did you have nightmares of crypto money and?
Yeah, did you start a crypto fund that you didn't remember?
I like to know.
Have you or? What are you on? What are you on?
How much time he puts into this? I want to know how much time he puts into this. I mean, this is, he spends like the whole week obsessing, or between shows obsessing about this. Good story. Good story.
Have you or someone you love been accused of being from Norway? Are you from Norway and been accused of being from somewhere else? You may be entitled to a settlement. Call 1-800-HATER-DAG and see. Well, I blame Phil McCracken. He was on 540 yesterday.
He was. Yeah.
Poor Jace.
Yeah.
No, I would have talked to him about being trans. I would have talked to him about Transformers. I would have talked to him about this T-Gap. Jeez.
Yeah,
you know
well,
that previous
is,
clip of
make you too
Megatron? You know this clip?
Autobots, transform and roll out.
That's what I would have talked to him about.
But I bet you Tim would have steered it to that. It sounds like that's what he is a one-note pony.
I don't know. Tim Sheridan, who are you, sir?
And good morning, good afternoon to Spartacus, depending on where you are. And T-Gap says, doesn't think the same. The Unimind disapproves of this message.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we all think differently. We all think differently.
Some more different than others.
Yeah.
Now, I am not banned yet, so just want to let you know.
And Spartacus says, yes, Tim. Now join us. Join the fold. Become part of the mind meld. One of us. One of us. One of us. It is that hive mind mentality.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
They're all wanting to write things that they are involved in that entertain themselves and their friends, not fans. Yeah. It's like I even brought up last night when I was on a stream. I said they don't care about the 99% that would buy this comic. The only appeal they have is the 1% who they want to buy the comic.
Right. And a long time ago, I did talk about that on my. I'm doing self placement here, but I talked about that.
You're a co-host. You're allowed.
Okay, you're doing a niche comic if you're doing that. Not everybody is into it. It's like doing romance comics or whatever, or even the underground comics, the drug comics and such like that, and even the sex comics they had. You're bringing that underground comic into mainstream, and you're not going to get people to buy it because it's a niche.
Yeah.
And then you get upset that no one's buying it, so you're going to call them names. It's like, well, this is not something
always the same.
they're interested in. Right.
It
has nothing to do with being an ist. It has nothing about being a phobe. It has everything to do with this is just not my thing. I just want to see a good guy beating the shit out of a bad guy. And not pounding the, if you know what I mean, boom, check it, bomb, pow. And again, them, character has to be gay. It's like, what does it have to do? And
that seems to be the big selling point.
Right. The 1% in the comic world and also the Hollywood has become now the 70%. Because in their hearts of hearts, everybody's gay. We're just denying it. Well, I'm gay in the old sense of the word before it was co-opted.
Yeah, gay meaning happy. It's like, the Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. And then at the end, have a gay old time, meaning happy, have a happy time.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like, and people say, why do you guys keep talking about this? Because it just keeps happening. It won't stop. It's just this whole thing about, it's just funny to me, but it's sad too. It's like you want to keep attacking people that don't like a piece of property that you did. Look at how great I did. Are you sure you did great? Why are a lot of people turning away from it then? Why are people not buying this? Ask yourself this question. Why do you need to change these characters all the time? Because, this is how you feel, fine. But don't be surprised if people don't buy this. I mean, the only reason some people will also buy these kind of comics is to make fun of them. I'm sure that hurts their feelings.
Pops makes a good point.
Yep.
Pops makes a very valid point.
I slightly disagree with him. Just with the way they bitch and moan about no one buying it. They go out there with that attitude originally and that superiority with that. No, they don't care who buys the comic, right? Thinking that, by doing this, people are going to buy it so they're not bigots or whatever. It's, I think, a tool. And because before you know it, they turn around like in the next breath begging for money because they're not getting any money. They're not getting the proper recognition. They do want it, but they don't want it.
A lot of these people,
they won't, but they're not.
They don't want to have conversations that disagree with them. Like it would be a good for some of these people, especially up and comers, to come on channels interview people. It's like, oh, well, what do you know about Green Lantern? Oh, that's pretty cool. But but they don't want to do that. It's all like they want people to just kiss their ass all the time. Like it's not. It's just like you don't want to set up something where you just want to hate everything because your life would be crazy. It would not ever go in the right direction. But a lot of this stuff, it's either you mock it or you get mad about it. But it's crazy. They just can't stop doing this stuff. It's insane.
Right.
And then they want to block people who don't disagree. I don't care, but this happens with other people. They remove you on social media. They don't want to talk to you anymore because you feel a certain way about something. It's crazy, but it's just they can't. Their feelings seem to be so hurt. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, see, that's just it. They've locked up. They locked up the writing and creativity teams. I use creativity and writing in very, very loosely. In both DC and Marvel, that is such a high percentage. They think, oh, I can sit back and say this, but they're still going to come to us because we're the only game in town. No, us too. We're the big two. So we just loaded up there. I can sit back. I don't care if no one buys it. With their attitude, thinking, oh, people are going to buy it anyways because it's dying comics, or it's a Marvel. They're still around. But the thing is, on all that does affect them because then no one's buying these comics. They're sitting on the shelf still. They're not getting the money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
it's, Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's just it. That's what we're talking about. Is he's just kind of doing? I think he's doing this as a publicity stunt for us to talk about him. But yeah, let's talk about him.
We're talking about him. We're talking about him.
It's just I know we're giving him some attention, but it's not just Tim Sheridan. It's all these people. It's Sam Maggs. It's all these people who want to. Well, I'm not going to say these people because that'll make Padawan too happy. It's just different.
You already did, Cass. You already did.
I did a few times there. But I made you happy, Padawan. Now, where's my check? No. He goes after anybody who is just they don't agree with. It doesn't matter what it is. Look at what happened with Cowboy Bebop, with Netflix. Look at what's happening still with comics. I mean, we even had a comic that what was it, Captain Gay, basically, and he throws a trash can as his shield. Like these kind of things. That was a few years ago. It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. And I'm like, do you guys really think this is actually a good idea? Look at what's happened to She-Hulk. Look at what's happened to all these different characters. And a lot of the things that in the lore are so much more interesting. And it's not that if you like this, that's cool. But stop thinking everybody else is going to like this as well. That's ridiculous. That's not how the world works. It just doesn't.
And most importantly, because it's not something that we're interested in, don't you fucking dare call us ists and phobes. It has nothing to do with it. You're just fulfilling, you're just fulfilling your own little delusional reality. I mean, you go out there, you scream instant phobe, run in the bathroom and wank one off because look how big I am. Look how big I am. I tap back and go, oh yeah. I mean, really, that's what it is. It's like, their personal,
it's everything, private, man. It's
one man circle jerk.
It's everything about stuff. I'm not going to sing this song because of this. What is this happened? I'm not going to do this because this happened. I'm not going to do this. Well, good for you. Good for you. You're just hurting yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make these jokes anymore because this happened. I'm not going to do this because this happened.
Then don't make the jokes anymore. Let someone else make the jokes.
That's right.
During the stream I was watching last night, and I'm not going to mention his name. I don't know if he wants me to mention it or not. We're not on bad terms or anything, but during the stream, we were watching old clips of Craig Ferguson's late night show.
Ah, nice.
And the comedy that you used to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The jokes that you used to get. The off-the-wall jokes.
Yep. The guests would sometimes flirt with him, and he would flirt with them. Just like what happened with a lot of late night talk show, even Conan. There were women who would flirt with him, and he would flirt with her, and this and that. Yeah.
I mean, there was one clip that we were watching, and it was when Robin Williams was on the late show of Craig Ferguson. Man, it just makes you long for Robin Williams, if I could speak, long for Robin Williams in this day and age.
Yes, we need, that's why there's still people like Chappelle. And yeah, a few years ago he was saying some stuff. It's like, what's going on here? But yeah, it would be nice to bring back that comedy again. All the funny stuff Conan did, all the funny stuff other people did, even things that but it's all change. It's all become activism. And the only one who's willing to make jokes, really, I mean, this is the truth. And why, as far as I know, they're still the late night leader is Gutfeld, because he's bringing back that old comedy that people still like. Making fun of this, making fun of each other. That's how a show should be.
I mean, that's what we do here on Pop Talk. We make fun of each other. We tell bad jokes. Why? Yeah. Because we're trying to be entertaining. Yeah, I know the jokes will fall flat 99.9% of the time, but it doesn't stop me.
That's half the fun. Just like when Johnny told a joke and it crashed, and it's like it's all part of the whole thing. The big thing is, and it hit me. It hit me really hard the other day thinking about this, and when I was in my stupor here, and it's like the big problem is they can't laugh at themselves. That's why you can't be funny. They are so the woke and people like this Tim Sheridan who's trying to do a Ron Jeremy by curling himself up and seeing if he can yeah, you heard me. I said that. But the thing is they can't make fun of themselves. We can make fun of ourselves. Yeah. That's where the humor is. And again, humor is poking fun, and it's not pretty. As the comedy, as the album by Steve Martin, comedy's not pretty. And that's true. It's not. Comedy is funny. Yep. It's not pretty because comedy shows the ugly side of not just life, but sometimes ourselves. A joke that you sit back and hear, and you think it's a racist joke to an ethnicity. You sit back and you take a look at the joke. It's like, no, it's not making fun.
It's pointing out things that are going on.
But they can't. It's very hard for a number of people to, yeah, it's hard for, we'll just call them a lot of drones. They can't get out of that bubble where they want, then when people put out I don't know, the certain, at the different companies, different people, drone sheep, whatever you want to call them, they can't laugh at themselves like you guys say, but they also, they can't have a conversation where somebody disagrees with them. They can't do it.
Right.
Because critical thinking isn't there.
Yep. They can't do it. It hurts them so much. It's like when you talk about the new Star Trek or you talk about this, there's a number of people that
wait. Did you just say Star Trek? What are you watching? Animaniacs?
Yeah, Star Trek. I call it Star Trek. Thing too is, but no, Star Trek. It's not. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and these jokes sometimes they're the ones that are poking fun at the person that's causing the the poking the fun, whether a joke about a woman by a man, and you take a look at it. Oh, wait a moment, no, it circles back, and the joke is it's the guy that you should be laughing at. With what what the situation is. Not a slight against women; it's actually poking fun at a man, or vice versa.
Yes.
The same thing when it comes around ethnicity, it circles back to the protagonist of the joke, not the one who's receiving it. But people can't look at that and understand that it's a commentary on society.
That's why
that's something that Saturday Night Live used to do in the beginning.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did it for a number of years. They used to think what happened to SNL. That's just another example. They have a skit and it's like, okay, this is funny, and then the next 5 skits are like, this is stupid, or it's some agenda or something, but it's never both sides. It's always one side, usually, never the other side. Like they're afraid to go this far with the other side. It's a mess. And then you find out people were even getting paid during COVID to watch SNL. That to me is just disgusting, but whatever.
Yeah.
That happened though. So I don't know if that's
I am still not blocked by Tim, Mr. Age Flexible.
Oh, he hasn't seen your
warning
message
bells.
Yet. I don't know. Yeah.
I am still not blocked by him, Mr. Age Flexible.
Yeah. If that doesn't raise a red flag, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
It's a waving. It's a waving. I still not. And I mean, if there's a person who could almost outsoy Will Wheaton, it's this guy. I mean, shit.
Yep.
Honestly, it's like just write good, compelling stories.
Write good stories and emphasize the real reason why people should be buying your particular comic.
Yeah, stop worrying so much about politics all the time, and it's just it infested. It's just a virus, and it's horrible. And then,
well, also people like Tim Sheridan are jealous of independent comic creators who are actually successful, like Eric July's Isom.
Yeah, he is successful with that. Yeah, I think EVS is doing well too, and some other people. Yeah.
And now with Chuck Dixon and Mike Baron going over there, I mean, it's like, heavy hitters compared to this mental midget. I mean, again, even jokes, even humor is a compelling story.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing one that's anecdotes of life. Right?
Because Crit, he's blocked a group of people and even made a video about the group of people and trying to push his new comic book. He's blocked a group of people who like Pops, myself, and a few others have never interacted with the guy, never even heard of the guy. In my case,
no,
it's in here. Same here. That's why it's Lockworth. Yeah, I mean, I know we're giving him attention, but you know what?
Yeah,
we're
giving
him
attention. Exactly, we're giving him some attention.
Well, maybe he likes this. Maybe he's a bottom. He's a bottom, and likes to have some masochistic tendencies. And this is how again he does this. Runs off in the bathroom and
But he's an activist. He's a comic book writer and activist who, like a lot of current day writers, whether it's comics, TVs, or movies, they want to preach their feelings.
And that's the big thing, and that's another thing that I guess we're kind of talking about. We're just showing the basically infestation or the disease that has hit in there, and it's still there. So this is more than just Mr. Sheridan. This is the whole friggin' industry. I like I said, I'm still trying to figure out if Amy Reeder is really a woman or is a guy in a dress. It's kind of hard to tell, but from the pictures I saw, but I'm leaning to guy in a dress. And again, what is it? All promoting gay. This guy, gay. All these other gay. Well, go off and make gay comics then with your gay superheroes and have fun.
Yeah.
No one's stopping you.
Man. And the same people, it's like, oh, well, you wouldn't want people on here disagreeing you. Of course we do. It's called banter. It's called, I want people. We don't want, this is what they don't understand, a lot of people.
I look at it this way. Give us a reason to buy your comic book, to actually open up the comic book from cover to cover and read it. Let us make our own opinion after we've read it. Don't just automatically throw us all under the bus because you think that all of us think the same. We're not a hive mind. You are part of a hive mind if you're starting to go out there and block a mass group of people who have never interacted with you.
Yeah. Mr. Soy Boy, we have homosexuals in our community. Yeah. We have we have homosexuals that are part of the quote unquote we want good stories, not activism. I almost said Activision.
I love it. Activision and Star Trek, man. Star Trek and Activision.
Yeah, there we go. So are these people, are these homosexuals ists and folk? No, in their opinion, these are self-hating gays. In their opinion, because they're not part of the mindset.
Because you even hear about people in the community who don't want anything to do with the tea community. It's like, no, these people aren't speaking for the rest of us. They have no right to speak for the rest of us.
And more importantly, they don't want anybody to speak for them. They just want to live their friggin' lives.
Mm-hmm. As any of us,
it's not on their sleeve.
Let us all lead our lives. Don't speak for us. Don't claim to know what we're thinking when you don't know what we're thinking.
Right.
We could have looked at this comic that's coming out and gone, you know what? I'm interested in checking that out. I'm interested in buying an issue. But to go on this verbal attack in a video, which has been removed, but some people were smart enough to save copies. Because on Twitter, nothing ever goes away. But to go on this video attack and label everybody, that's disingenuous in my opinion.
Right. Hey, I got news for you, guy. Some people don't like Green Lantern. Are they in the same boat too? I guess they're esophobes also, because they should still grab it because it's gay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I knew a person in high school who didn't like Star Wars. Am I supposed to hate him because he didn't like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Just not for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Whoopa's a Cardinal fan. Am I supposed to hate Whoopa because he's a Cardinal fan? No. Whoopa's a good guy.
No, we got several other things to hate him for, but not that.
I mean, me being a Cub fan, I should look at Whoopa and go, I'm not talking about you. You're a Cardinal fan. I'm not talking to you, about you, with you. I'm not socializing with you. No, that's just stupid. Just because we like two different teams who happen to be rivals doesn't mean we can't talk about the common thing that we both like, and that's baseball. Our frustrations, what we wish they would change. Just like in comic books. Why does there need to be gay, trans, lesbian, whatever in every single story now? And it's forced. It's not natural.
You do a poor job.
It's not organic.
Even the shows, I can even point to stuff like Supergirl. Like, you guys had good ideas. Some of the writing was good. You had this whole thing where the adopted sister of Kara, she was like a Scarlet character from like G.I. Joe, and then you change her. She has to be a lesbian. She has to want a kid. It's ridiculous. Just because of your ego and your agenda and your nonsense, it just makes no sense. You had these good ideas before. Go with the better ideas. Why does every character have to be a superhero? Why does every character have to be gay in this show? It's just weird. They weren't before, so why are they now? Oh, well, this character never liked men and hates men and wants to date a woman. Okay, why? Well, it's just the way it is. Yeah.
Well, Smarter Chris is right about that. This only makes a badge of honor. It only emboldens us because it shows us that we're on the right path. It means that these people are scared. I mean,
they're scared of common sense.
Right. Well, they're scared. I'm sure this is a big publicity stunt by him, and he's getting it, but it's not necessarily going to get him any readers. It's just going to have people wondering who the hell this schmuck is, and they can laugh at him.
Yeah,
but
some people will buy it. Some people will support it. Yeah. Great, good for them.
Right.
It's their money. Let them do what they want.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good for them. But it's not going to be at any high level.
No,
it's not going to be anything about if he's got to go out there and just list all this stuff to buy my comic and let's beat these ists and phobes. That's the wrong approach.
Yep.
It should be. We're going back to the days of classic. Of classic Green Lantern and another age. This is the 40s, where where war is looming and blah blah blah. All across that way, right? Trying to protect the homeland from enemies abroad that might be here sneaking around, or even taking the fight to them. No, it's about he's struggling because he might be gay. He's gay. And he's afraid of letting that out because what would they do and blah blah. Oh, we're gonna go because it's all about gay. Okay, what would be more interested in reading? him kicking ass in the 1940s
Right.
against
Exactly.
the National Socialists and others are about him looking in the mirror and going, "I'm gay. What are they going to do? Oh
Right.
no, I'm
And
not going to be
that's pretty much the whole
popular."
comic. Oh, I'll never be popular. I'm never going to be better than I am and all this stuff. Instead of saying, let's give him a cool costume, and then people find out, yeah, I'm gay, and then some people how they feel, oh, well, we don't like you. It's like, well, we're going to either work together or we're not, because we're going to
Right.
have to figure this out. And this is why this is banter. And so they just forget about all these things that we had for years. For
Right.
fucking years. Makes
Well,
no sense.
how
Makes no
how often
sense.
did the X-Men have to go out there and say, "Hey, you might not necessarily like us, but we got to band together and kick ass here"? And how,
Mhm.
the enemy of my enemy is the enemy of my enemy is my ally, whether we agree with each other or not, or we have our own strength. I mean, and
Yep.
it's all it's about. It's like going for the character, the
Yep.
not the nature of the person, not the
Right.
whatever it is. It's going to be the toss out platitudes.
Where is the
Mhm.
dialogue saying, yes, I know I'm gay and people have a problem with it, but it's who I am, and they're just going to have
Right.
to accept it, and we're going to have to find a way to work together. It's never written like that. It's always, I'm better than you because I'm now gay, and you hated me, and now I'm going to turn on you, or whatever it is. It's crazy. Yet, and by the
Mhm.
way, also, it's okay if you want all your characters to be straight, that's fine too. It's
Mhm.
your vision. If you want a
Mhm.
big-breasted woman in your game or comic or whatever, that's your vision. Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't let people
Mhm.
change you. They want to send you death threats or whatever. Those people are always ignorant. Always.
I mean, why
No,
can't we see
no.
a character? It doesn't matter what medium it comes from, but why can't we see them, you know, since we're talking comics and superheroes, go through the growing pains of
Yes.
being a superhero?
Yes, growing pains,
Right.
going through pains of being, if the person is gay or even straight. You think straight people don't go through hard times as well? Give me a break. It's
Hmm.
just it's crazy. Just crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, you had that with Superman, with him growing up as his evolution kept on going, and being a simple little farm boy to becoming a superhero and trying to hide his identity. So you had that with him. With as time went along, you had the same thing with Batman. How Bruce Wayne, as a young man, and then training and going up and becoming Batman or the Batman, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of these, even looking into the history of Wonder Woman when she was on the island before coming here and what she had to do. We
Right.
have all these compelling
Yes.
stories.
Yes, we do.
Uh, Now it's like all of a sudden, boom, out of a closet. I'm here. I'm gay. Gotta love me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You gotta love me because I'm gay.
Because I'm gay.
Right.
That's the main point of this comic. I'm gay. You gotta
Right.
buy it.
I mean,
Okay,
look at
is there anything else? Is there anything else?
Right.
Just like everybody who's in the chat and the three of us here on the panel, there's more to us than just one aspect of us.
Right.
yes.
Some of us are cat people. Some of us are dog people. Some of us are both. Some
Mhm.
of us like me, Marvel. Some of us like DC. Some of us like both. Some people like Superman. Some people don't.
That's right. Some people do.
I mean,
Some people like comics, some
some
people
people like
don't. Some
Y-
some
You
people
know what?
hate anime, some people don't.
Some of
It's just,
us like to
whatever.
watch videos of people going around finding old vehicles that haven't run for years and seeing the
oh,
work being put in to get those old vehicles not just up
Yeah.
and running again, but back out on the road again.
Yeah.
right.
Some people are really into cars. I'm not, and that's cool. But I'm happy to also learn, and I appreciate people's passions for different things that they have. But we don't appreciate
Right.
much. It's always me, 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 me with a lot of people nowadays. Me, and it just keeps getting worse every year. Every year, unfortunately.
And these people think that we're just, again, we're in that same bubble, so we don't expand out of the major
Right.
two. We might expand out the Dark Horse or something like that, but that really doesn't count. They don't realize some of us have read the underground comics. Some of us know who Fat Freddy's Cat and the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers are, or even XXX Files. I mean, some of us know about this. It's like we haven't lived a sheltered life. We know what these comics are, and if it was something that interested us, we would buy it. I mean, I remember in junior high or whatever, that was kind of the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers was kind of that underground, literally underground, where we're kind of selling like a drug deal type of thing amongst us because there's no way we could get it as kids because it was an adult comic. But I got so a few copies. But of course, there's that curiosity, and it's about drugs and this and that. It's funny, haha. It's that slice of different humor. So yeah, some of us have and do read some of these underground comics. We are, many of us are branched out and take in a lot of things that you wouldn't imagine. I mean, how many people read history? Or go in literally like Scotty sit down and read technical manuals, real ones, not the fan ones. We're talking about real ones in real life, and they love engineering, and that's why they identify with Mr. Scott, or maybe Mr. Scott was inspired them to that. How many people are literally doctors and nurses?
Yeah, because of McCoy and Nurse Chapel. How many people joined the Navy because of Star Trek?
I don't know. That would be an interesting fact to find out, actually.
Yeah, and how many of these guys got all excited when they served on board the USS Enterprise?
Good point.
And how many are waiting to sign on for the new Enterprise when it comes out? I mean, and it's more than just more than just Star Trek. I mean, how many people don't like Star Trek, but they love Doctor Who? And it gets them involved in wanting to look into history and such. How many people are into Battlestar Galactica, but they only like the original, not the remake? And it gets them because it was whether people like it or not, it was getting into a spiritual area because again, it was good old Glenn Larson kind of retelling the Mormon story on the United States. How many people got fascinated with that? With the beings of light and Count Iblis and such.
Well, let's not forget Babylon 5.
Right.
Here you have J. Michael Straczynski, who doesn't align himself with any particular religion, yet the different religions are represented in the series.
Yep.
Right.
Because he cares about doing a lot of research on things, and when you put together a show, in my opinion, you should do a lot of research. And once again, if say you want a Star Wars show and they're all female, not the Force is female, but they're all female, there has to be reasons why we care about these characters.
Right.
There has to be reasons.
And they did it perfectly with the season finale of season 2 of Mandalorian. They did it perfectly there.
I like that. Season 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And you're watching it and you start realizing, hey, wait a moment. The majority of this is women. And you know what? I don't care. It's good.
That's right. Interesting characters.
And hello, Leia Rose.
Hello, Leia.
And I do want to take the time to acknowledge those I haven't acknowledged yet. I do want to say hello to Pop Culture Mechanic. I want to say hello to Lord Crit of Everest Productions. The Padawannabe. DJ Ronnie G. Bill McCracken. Jace, good to see you. Roll Tide, Killy Chow, Roll Tide. And of course, Pops. And also Dempsey.
And I am still not banned yet, folks. So,
dang, just give it a little time.
Just wait till later today. You'll probably be banned.
Yeah.
He's just look, Tim Sheridan. He wants to make a name for himself this way. It seems. I don't know. It's just one example of the different people that work for DC, Disney, Marvel. What's going on? I mean, even Disney came out recently and said, well, we're going to make some changes with their TV shows. It's like, I don't really understand what goes through your guys' brains about this stuff. If a lot of the audience doesn't like something, then it might be time to go back to a lot of things that worked. You shouldn't change it because somebody else wants you to change it, but make something compelling and mean it. I don't know. It's always a broken record with this stuff.
Yeah, well,
Lately.
there is something that's coming out, and I think it is going to be compelling
Mm-hmm.
because it is based partially on true events,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
and it was originally called The Mighty Eighth, and now it's going to be called Masters of the Air. It's the third part to the Band of Brothers
Oh
trilogy,
wow. Jeez.
No, wow. Yeah,
and
I read something about that.
and part of the reason I'm interested in this is because my late grandfather, excuse me, on my father's side was a captain in the Air Force, and he flew a B-17 during World War II. He was part of the 832nd and the 486th Bombardment Group. And my dad and I, whenever there was one coming to our local area, would always go to an air show and look for a B-17. I've seen the Sentinel Journey, and then I also seen with my father the B-17 909, which unfortunately crashed 4 years ago this month, killing 7 people. But you know, when it comes to World War II documentaries or movies, I'm always going to be there watching. I'm always going to be looking at it from a certain point of view, saying, "Okay, is this factual? Is this not factual?" But when it comes to something that has a B-17, because of my grandfather, oh, I'm there. And I only got to know my grandfather for a short time before he passed away, but I can still remember my dad taking a B-17 model, putting it all together, and putting all the markings and colors that my grandfather's B-17, the King Kong, had, and making it as accurate as possible. And just the look of my grandfather's face when my dad presented it to him, and how touched he was by it, because he even put it on his mantle on the fireplace. And that was something that my dad said my grandfather didn't really talk about too much, was his time as a B-17 pilot during World War II. He would say a few things here, a few things there. Excuse me, I got a cough again. Allergies.
Yep, gotta love
But
it.
yep. But he wouldn't talk about it that much, but he would say a few things here, a few things there. When my dad was growing up, but it wasn't until later that my dad started getting more information, as my grandfather knew that unfortunately his time was coming. He passed away due to high blood pressure, and also he had cancer at the time. So this is definitely a mini series I am looking forward to, and it's something that we've said here on Pop Talk. You got to praise them when they do something good, and I'm hoping this
Right.
is good. I have my fingers crossed that this is good. I want to be able to
Right.
praise this because I've enjoyed Band of Brothers. I've enjoyed the Pacific, and I want to be able to praise this. So
Yeah, we should. The good, the bad, and the ugly about the whole thing. I mean, of course, I knew my grandfather, luckily, until 6 years or so ago when he passed. But it was always interesting when there would be he flew as board C-47s. But
okay,
obviously, being part of the Army Air Force, you kind of know about stuff that goes on around you. And whenever there's a film about World War II or whatever, it'd be interesting to hear his commentary, what was BS and what wasn't BS about what we were seeing in there. But I know the one thing is, like, if anybody wants to, while you're waiting for this movie to come around, or this miniseries, I say, look for a movie called 12 O'Clock High with Burt Lancaster. He
I've
said that
watched
was
that with
one
my
of the.
father.
I've heard of that
He said
movie.
that was, yeah. He said that was one of the most accurate films to do with flying during the
Thank you,
war,
Chris.
And I would also go with the first season of 12 O'Clock High, the TV show. Because after a while, it starts getting, after season one, it starts getting a little Hollywoodish. But the first season of 12 O'Clock High, the TV show, and it's out there on these free services. I recommend reading that or watching that until the show comes out. Get yourself prepared, and then see what they do with this show. Do comparisons on how people who were in the war presented it compared to those who haven't, and hopefully those that weren't in the war did a proper studying and not trying to turn it agenda.
Well, that's what I found so fascinating when my father and I, 21 years ago this month, went to the 486 Bombardment Group reunion. And I met many men and women who were over in Europe during World War II. Some of them fought in both theaters. And, listening to their stories. And I know I've mentioned this before on Pop Talk, but it was me and another young guy. And we're there with our, in my case, my dad, and in his case, his family. And they were touched that young guys like us actually wanted to be there.
Right.
I wanted to hear their stories, what they went through, because it wasn't easy for any of them.
No.
I mean, hearing one gentleman who was a tail gunner in a B-17, and he went down still in the tail section. He was strapped in. He couldn't get his parachute out. Somehow, by the grace of God, he survived the impact. Yeah, he was badly injured, but he survived the impact, and he was taken in by a local family who helped heal him up and get in contact with the Allies so that they can get him back to base.
Yeah, I mean, the tail gunner job was probably the most deadly job on board a B-17. And the one thing, too, is a lot of those guys didn't wear their parachutes. They were using the parachutes as a pillow because they were on their knees back there. So it's like, if anything happened,
there wasn't any room for them to have their parachute on.
Right. So
same with the ball turret gunners.
Exactly. And yeah, and try to fit in one of those things. You better not be claustrophobic. That's all I got to say. On both jobs.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the story about the one that got shot down at a B-17 over Africa, or North Africa. Don't know if it was like Libya, Africa, or Egypt or whatever. But obviously they're battling the Desert Fox, and he got blown out of the back of the plane, and there's actually footage of it from another plane, and he goes, this guy goes out on the stage and he points, he goes, this is me. There's two dots. He goes, this is me. He points at the other dot. He goes, that's my parachute. And he got shot out, fell, landed in the desert, survived. When he came to, he said he felt the heat. He felt around him the hot sand. He goes, oh shit, I didn't make it. In other words, he thought he was in hell. But then he woke up, started walking, came over a rise, and he saw all this German equipment. He goes, oh yeah, that's Rommel. So he turns around and goes the other way. Well, I guess they're based out of Italy. So they're flying from Italy to do the runs. Everybody thought he was dead. Everybody thought he was dead. So imagine the shock when the Jeep comes pulling into where his unit is, and he's riding in the back of the Jeep, and everyone's going, what? Huh? How?
You're alive? How?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have those odd, weird, and thankfully happy stories that come out of it because you live in the middle of this hill. Just because in the air doesn't mean that it was less dirty than being on the ground, especially when you have a plane all shot up. And the one person was going about how to make these planes tougher. He goes, everyone was analyzing where all the bullets were on board the plane, figuring that's where they need to, you know, to heighten the what armor you might say, you know. And the guy goes, well, look, did it do damage? No. Then everything is good there. Now we got to focus on these parts here now, because these are the vulnerable parts. So they started doing that. So what happened? Boom. They made a stronger, more effective planes.
Yeah, that's what happened with the B-17. When it first came out, it was a vulnerable plane. It couldn't defend itself. They had to make improvements.
Exactly. And they became one of the toughest planes in the theater. I mean, how many times do you hear stories where a plane came in literally on one engine?
Yeah. You see pictures, and I was actually part of this B-17 group on Facebook. You see pictures that people post of their grandfather's planes. And you see, all the damage that the plane has, took during combat. Yet still, call it by the grace of God, or, the structure of the aircraft, whatever you want to call it. But that plane made it back. Some of the crew members didn't make it back, but that plane sure as hell made it back.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they have those
Baron.
advancements in war. They have those advancements in war, but unfortunately, it takes war sometimes to advance a lot of technology. Is that that's a sad thing. Yeah,
it is. So this article comes from Parade. It says the true story behind Masters of the Air, the upcoming miniseries starring Austin Butler. And for those of you not familiar with Austin Butler, he was Elvis in the recent Elvis movie. It says everything you need to know about the Apple Plus TV show, and I'll probably subscribe to it just to watch that. I'm not going to pirate it. I want to support this. This is by Emma Dibdin, and it was posted on the 17th, and it starts off by saying Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks have a long history of collaborating on sweeping, critically acclaimed war dramas on both the big and small screen. In 2001, when Prestige TV was still in its early days, they paralleled the success of their Oscar winning movie Saving Private Ryan into the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers, which followed a company of U.S. soldiers before, during, and after their brutal experiences in World War II. More than 2 decades on, Spielberg and Hanks have reunited with executive producer Gary Goldsman on Masters of the Air, which is described as a spiritual follow-up both to Band of Brothers and its companion series, The Pacific. Here's everything you need to know about Masters of the Air, including release date, plot, and cast, and more. What is Masters of the Air about? Masters of the Air tells the story of the young man, who served in the 100th Bomb Group within the U.S. 8th Air Force, aka the Bloody 100th, during World War II, and how they played an integral role in defeating Hitler despite the extraordinary challenging conditions they faced. These bomber boys were tasked with doing something that had never been done before, fighting a war at 25,000 feet where freezing temperatures and sparse oxygen made every moment incredibly dangerous. Per Apple TV, the series will focus on the psychological and emotional price paid by these young men as they help destroy the horror of Hitler's Third Reich, as well as the physical peril. Some of the airmen were shot down, captured, and held in prison camps, while others were wounded and killed. The 3 episodes of Masters of the Air are directed by Kerry Joji Fukunaga. I don't know if I said that last part right. I do apologize if I did it. Who's known for directing the first season of True Detective, the war drama Beast of No Nation, and the most recent James Bond movie, No Time to Die. The story was adapted for TV by John Orloff, who was part of the writing staff on Band of Brothers. Well, there's a plus right there, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, but he had that last Bond movie, which was
Yeah, which wasn't
Wasn't
very good from what I've
but
heard.
it wasn't very good, but they can always come up with something else. It's.
Oh yeah, well, just because he had one flop doesn't mean you're bad.
Yeah, it's just
had his flops too.
Some decisions in that movie. I mean, other people liked it, but I have some problems with that film.
Mm-hmm.
This article goes on to say the following: Is Masters of the Air based on a book? Masters of the Air is based on the non-fiction 2007 book of the same name by historian Donald J. L. Miller. I was about to say J for some reason. That book, fully titled Masters of the Air, America's Finest Bomber Boys Who Fought the Air War Against Nazi Germany, is described by publishers Simon & Schuster as an authoritative, deeply moving account of the world's first and only bomber war. Miller, a World War II expert, tells the story of the 8th Air Force through interviews, oral histories, and material from American, British, and German archives. Is Masters of the Air based on a true story? Yes. Masters of the Air is based on the true story of the 8th Air Force, and each major character is based on a real life member of the 100th Bombardment Group. Masters of the Air is a salute to the brave men of the 8th Air Force who, through their courage and brotherhood, helped defeat Nazi Germany in World War II, executive producer Gary Goldsman said when the show was announced. Tom and Steven have always wanted to visualize cinematically what our author, Don Miller, has called this singular event in the history of warfare. What is the Masters of the Air release date? Masters of the Air will debut on January 26th, 2024, with a feature-length double episode premiere on Apple TV. New episodes will then air weekly, with the series finale slated for March 15th, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Who is casted Masters of the Air? Austin Butler as Major Gail Clevin. Butler, who shot to prominence last year for his Oscar-nominated turn in Elvis, which Hanks also appeared, leads the cast as Major Gail Clevin. Butler has revealed that Hanks personally brought the role to him while they were working together on Elvis. You have immersed yourself so deeply in Elvis that for your mental health, it would be wise to go straight into something else, Butler recounted Hanks saying to him at the time. During an interview with the Times of London, if you just jump off the train, you might have an emotional whiplash. And, I've got this thing I'm producing. Callum Turner as Major John Egan. Turner is best known for playing Thesis Scamander in the second and third installments of the Fantastic Beasts trilogy. Well, unfortunately, I've never watched that, so I am unfortunately unfamiliar with him.
Mm-hmm.
The
Here,
Fantastic Beasts. Oh, yeah.
Here he plays Major John Egan, who shared a close bond with Clevin. Well, I think they all did during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was part of that flight crew.
The only Fantastic Beasts movie you should watch is the first one, Mike. I think you might like it. So.
Okay. Anthony Boyle as Major Harry Crosby. Boyle is a stage and screen actor who was Tony nominated for his role as Scorpius Malfoy in the initial run of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. He plays Major Harry Crosby, the lead navigator for the 100th Bomb Group.
Boy, there's a lot of Harry Potter
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be like Alano Moss and pull out your wand.
Barry Keoghan as Lieutenant Curtis Biddick. And see, I like seeing the costume because my dad actually kept my grandfather's uniform. So, seeing some of this and it does look accurate, at least from this picture. I'll be able to tell more when I watch the series, but seeing this attention to detail, I do appreciate that. Keoghan was nominated for an Oscar this year for a supporting role in The Banshees of Inisherin. I know I butchered that. I'm sorry. And has also appeared in HBO series Chernobyl, The Green Knight, and Marvel's Eternals. You had Nkuti Gatwa as Second Lieutenant Robert Daniels. Gatwa recently wrapped up his breakout run as Eric Effing or Ephon on Netflix Sex Education and will make his debut as the 15th Doctor in Doctor Who. Rafferty Law as Sergeant Ken Lemons. And let's see what it says about him. Law, who is the son of Jude Law, plays Sergeant Ken Lemons, the flight chief of the 100th. It does say, is Tom Hanks in Masters of the Air? As far as we know, Tom Hanks won't appear in the series. However, he is executive producing the series alongside Spielberg and Gary Goldsman, just like on Band of Brothers and The Pacific. Hanks was part of the cast of Band of Brothers, and he narrated portions of The Pacific, so there's certainly a chance he'll show up on screen in some capacity.
And I will say that I just want to add, yes, Tom Hanks can be a nutcase, but there is still a lot of things I enjoy that he's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Bachelor Party.
Yeah, he can be a nutcase, but it would be still pretty cool, I think, to sit down. I know some people can't stand Tom Hanks, but I think it would be pretty cool to sit down and talk about his career. I really do.
It says how many episodes are in Masters of the Air. The series will be 9 episodes long, with the first 2 episodes premiering together as a feature-length event. And it says how to watch Masters of the Air. Masters of the Air is an Apple original, so it will be available exclusively on Apple TV Plus. Is there a Masters of the Air trailer? Apple hasn't released a trailer for Masters of the Air, but watch this space. Yeah, I'll be watching closely.
So we don't probably, if we haven't watched much of Band of Brothers or even finished it, we could still watch this and it wouldn't.
I don't think you would have to watch Band of Brothers to know what's going on in this, because this is specifically focusing on the story of the 100th Bombardment Group.
Gotcha. Yeah. Just want to know if there was any kind of connection there.
We've gotten the land aspect of World War II in both Europe and the Pacific. Now we're getting what happened in the air. And I'm hoping it's good. I have my fingers crossed. I am looking forward to this. When I first heard that it was going to be released, I couldn't wait to watch it. And then you don't hear anything for a while, and you're thinking, is it still going on? You do searches, and you don't see anything new. And then slowly but surely, things start trickling out. And I'm going to watch this, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion of it. And this is something where I would actually go against my normal 3-episode rule. I'm going to watch all 9 episodes.
I'll watch it with you if you want other people to watch. I'm interested.
Yeah. If you guys want to watch it with me, if anybody wants to watch it with us, let me know. Then we can all talk about it on Pop Talk.
And I have to sit back and say, I hope I'm not banned by Tim Sheridan at that time, because I want to hear him whine about no representation. Where's the representation?
Oh man, they're giving me attention. See, they're obsessed with me.
Yeah, you're 15 minutes of mocking.
Spartacus says, "Who's playing He-Man and She-Ra in Masters of the Air?" I don't know. I don't know. And he also said, "Taking down the Luftwaffe."
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they encountered. I wonder if this flight group encountered the jet fighters for the first time. Just because you hear the stories about their reactions to all of a sudden, whoosh, these things flying by like they've never seen before. And it's like, what the hell is that? I think, you can hear over some of the recordings. It's like,
yeah,
that must have been a wake up call. It's like, whoa.
Well, I mean, let's look at it this way too, Baron. You're already tense. Your heart's already pumping. And then you see something like that. It's like, oh, damn it. What now?
Let's thank God that they didn't do more with that. In the war. Especially the bomber. They're working on a jet bomber, everything. It's like, holy cow. If they would have if certain decisions were made, that war would have gone a different way.
Oh yeah.
Let's be thankful that they did go a certain way.
Yeah. The tide of war would have turned quickly.
Oh yeah. In a heartbeat.
And people also need to understand, I always have to bring this up, that war is not pretty. And there are atrocities in war on both sides. Once again, it's war. People are threatening you. It's not sugarcoating. It's not one way, And by the way, when soldiers come back, wherever they've come back from, don't spit on them and treat them like trash. Okay? It's ridiculous.
Right.
They were just being told what to do by their commanding officers. And
well, and not only that,
people like Jane Fonda make me sick to my stomach. But anyways, just
she's a piece of work.
Yes,
but the big thing too is these people who are coming back from war are coming back from being overseas weren't necessarily even involved directly with the war. They might have been on a base in Germany.
Yep.
Or they're just some Hunya tapping away at being a Garrett trooper, tapping away at a keyboard. They never left, in the case of Saigon, Vietnam, they never left Saigon. They had, and never once pulled a weapon in anger, as they would say. So it's like to think that everyone that's coming off a plane was out there in the middle of combat and killing somebody is wrong. And I'm not taking away those that were, in Germany or whether they had very important jobs to take care of as well. But, to go out there and start spitting directly just shows how idiotic you are and not understanding that you are.
Fair enough, Dempsey. Fair enough. I'm just saying that, people always want to assume that they know what the hell's going on when they weren't even there. So that's, I'm sure some of them were following orders, Dempsey. Fine. Maybe I was a bit jumping to conclusions on that, but some of them will come back and say, well, we were just following orders. You know that, Dempsey. So.
Well, when it comes around to just following orders, again, the soldiers don't necessarily know fully what the hell's going on.
Sure. No.
They're giving orders to go in there. They're told that this is happening down there. They go in and they find out after the fact, no, we were lied to, just like civilians.
Right.
And it's like, we're just following orders. We did not know. Compared to those that are using that, they have started using that as an escape clause,
right?
Where they knew damn well what everything was going on, and they gleefully took a part of it,
right?
And then to get out of it, to weasel out. We were just following orders. So,
and look at it this way too: for the Allies, what a big gamble it was to invade Normandy,
right?
Right,
because all the projections were telling them this is a bad idea, but it was one of those things where we either do this or we lose the war.
Right. And And Spartacus has that, thing there about, how many churches, whatever level, because the German National Socialists were dug into them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We
Right.
bombed them. You had Christians bombing churches, which
Mm-hmm.
is a big difference to when we were going with, not too long, with a little war that we were involved in. And the enemy was using mosques and hospitals and schools to shoot us, and they say, no, we can't, we can't go after mosques because that's racially insensitive. Bitch, please, we leveled an old cathedral in a German town because a bunch of those guys were in there. Come on.
These are the same
Were you
people about
cooperative?
the bombs that we dropped in Japan. It's like, it's war. Yes, it's not pretty. It's ugly. Unfortunately, people have to die on both sides, and unfortunately, the whole situation is unfortunate. But when you sit there and you think you understand when you haven't been there, you're just being ignorant. And a lot of people seem to choose to be ignorant to a lot of different things, Baron, that actually want to see the facts or logic.
Right. Well,
which is unfortunate as well. Yes.
Well, that's just it, though. It's an ugly thing, but you actually do have people who are leading wars, trying hard to make it as less ugly as possible.
Right.
They want to make out everyone as being these war hawks. Go in. We don't care how many soldiers get mowed down, and that's not the case.
Yes.
You have people like Patton, who was leading from the front. One time there was, the troops didn't want to cross this river. Patton got so mad he went out in the middle of the river and started chewing out the troops. This is a no man's land. The Germans are taking shots at him.
Right.
And he's out there calling them a bunch of, bunch of names and questioning their manhood. I mean, which of course is a leader. But that's not war crazy. That's putting your money where your mouth is. It's like, yeah, this is a dangerous thing, and I'm with you.
Yep. And people also I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't want YouTube to get all their panties in a knot. But
let them.
Okay.
They already have.
They probably have, but I do feel at this point our military has been weakened by certain decisions that is made in our government, and that does worry me. And I also do not like that there's a number of people, I don't care what side it's on, that are just still ready to go to war. And it's like, no, we need to be careful about what wars we get into. That goes for any country.
Right. And these are the same people at one time were saying, no, we can't stay out. How dare we get into this war? It's like, it's a war of convenience. It's a war of let's wave a virtual signaling flag.
That's right.
And the thing is you can sit back and say, I don't like Zelensky. Oh, it means you're pro-Putin. No, I don't like Putin. I don't like either one of us, them, and we should stay away. Keep the money and put it for the people that we need here. And it goes to the same thing with the Middle East. It's like, okay, you guys are fighting. Tell you what, have fun. But of course, with with the decisions are made, how much of our equipment now being used in that war because we sit so conveniently left behind.
Right. Yeah.
All this stuff.
I know. It's just, and these are just facts. And it's like, why would you do this? Why? Because you don't care. It's all about their egos and their narcissism and whatever. And there's still a few people, I believe, in Congress that actually care about the people, but there's only a few. And the rest of them whenever they're like, we need to give money to this, we need to give money to that. It's like, why would I ever vote for you again? What are you doing? Why are you changing? Why are you like this now? Or have you always been like this and now you're showing your true colors? Right.
And not only that, it's also, how can we get into this war as fast as possible? We need to get this war going. We got to get involved.
Yes.
Well, what happened if you are on the wrong side of this war?
Exactly. And any journalist, I don't care what side they are, when they ask tough questions to the press secretary or whoever else is in charge, they deserve those questions to be asked because we, as the American people, deserve to know. We should know where our taxpayer money is going. But people don't like to say that. Oh, you're a horrible person. You're awful. I hate you. I wish you would go somewhere else. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's just...
Well, I mean, it's just that was my same opinion about Bosnia Herzegovina. My opinion was, yeah, you know
Right.
what we should do? We should put a presence there, and that presence is just orbited around those two, over that entire situation. Say, you
Yep.
guys have fun, have a fight. We'll talk to the guy who's left over, and anyone who steps over this line, we'll crush.
Yep. Yep.
The same thing should be said about Russia and Ukraine. Here it is. Okay, you step over. Zelensky, you pull a little stunt again where you shoot a couple missiles into Poland. Yeah, we're going to invoke NATO on you.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with our little situation in the Middle East. It's like, okay, you guys fight it out. I mean, it's amazing. Jordan, Egypt are staying out of it. We should, take a page out of Jordan, Egypt. Who are you supposed
just
to
stay
jump
out of
into
it.
this shit? Yeah, stay out of it. And if you step over the line, you try attacking us. Oh yeah, we'll crush. We'll crush what comes after us. But we're not getting involved.
And the same people who have always been against war, hate war, are for certain wars. It boggles the mind.
Right.
It just boggles the mind. The hypocrisy
It's
of
always
all
the
of
case.
it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's always the case. Yeah, and it's like, okay, what is the true reason why you're opposing this war? And if there's a good reason, okay. If it's just because I'm just wanting to go march step with a political party or a deal or whatever, then of course it's start thinking about it. And if you have a good reason why not to, okay, now we know you're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, unfortunately, there is times to go to war, and let's make that the least option possible out there. Let's make that the last option. Obviously,
the last
there
resort.
are times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Obviously, there are times, and World War II definitely was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely.
You can't get away with saying that was not a just war because it was not one that we started. It was what other people started.
Mm-hmm.
We were just answering the call. We were just returning the message that was sent to us, you might say.
Mm-hmm.
But we were already involved in World War II. We were sending supplies over to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We had men and women going to Europe to help out in the war.
Mm-hmm.
We were already involved.
Well, a lot of those were volunteers, though. It was.
I know, but still, we were involved. We were just not directly involved.
Right. Just same thing with the Pacific too. You had the Flying Tigers.
It's like that argument. Also, it's like, oh well, to stay as a superpower, you have to put your hand in the cookie jar, and it's like, well, how many times do we need to put it in there?
No, to be a superpower, you have to be like Theodore Roosevelt and have the Great White Fleet go around the world saying, hey, this is what we got. You want to fuck with us? Mm-hmm. That's how you're a superpower. Mm-hmm. You show that you're able to do something, but you don't.
Right.
Unless it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with flexing a muscle. There's nothing wrong with showing somebody that you can take them down in one punch. But just to blindly go out there and do the one punch, that's the difference between the two. And to be a superpower is showing that you can do that punch. Being despotical is going out there and doing the swing in the first place and not caring.
Yeah, you got to be careful about it. I also find it interesting how our government is just quick to. I'm just surprised, this government especially, that they're just we're going to support Israel 110,000% on this. I'm like, oh, really? Your comments before us says otherwise, but sure. Your comments has said we're differently before, but now, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Definitely.
I find it very interesting. And the more you read about this stuff and you get actually informative about it and you go, oh, really? I found out some other stuff recently that I'm not going to bring up on YouTube, but it's just like, oh, so that is what happened. Okay. And so a lot of this stuff lately, especially the last few years, you're like, oh, so there's more lies going on, more and more lies from the media, from this, from a lot of people, not all the media, but most of the media. And you just go, oh, really? So we're not asking questions anymore. We're just accepting this, and this has to be this, and this is ridiculous. And if you try to go against that, then you're the bad person. Yeah. It's the same with these wars. It's the same with everything. It's unfortunate. It really is. And I've said that a few times, but it's just, I really wish people go, you know what? We need to be careful. I like to hear more people say we need to be careful about how much we get involved into different wars, overseas, whatever it is. Yeah.
You know, there's a good saying, pick your battles.
Yes.
Right. Well, especially now in an age where we can see things a little bit more clearer because we have more access to the world than we did even 20 years ago. And especially more than even 30, 40 years ago. It's not hard for us to go around and take a look and get a viewpoint from all sides. You just have to have the stomach to be able to listen to somebody you don't agree with and see where they're coming from to understand what's going on. So especially now with that, should give us even less what would you say, in something to start going out there, locking and loading and having fun that way, to start thinking, well, there's got to be some other way out of this first. Right.
Yep. There has to be. There has to be another option. There just has to be.
Right.
But remember, we have people even in our own country, Baron, that want limited options for us as humans. This is the only option. No. That's bad.
Well, no, because information is bad. It's easier to get people to rally around the flag when people are ignorant, where you can sit back and use that phrase, I was just following orders. To an educated group of people go, wait a moment, we don't like this. You know, and when you have that, it becomes a danger. It becomes a danger when you have an informed or be able to communicate a group of people out there. No wonder why they want to censor the internet as much as possible. It's not the new thing. They tried doing that back in the 90s. It was one of Bill Clinton's big things that he was pounding a putt on. Because he didn't want information about him moistening his cigar with Monica Lewinsky.
Right.
You know, when you start seeing things and what you're hearing on the news doesn't add up with what you're actually seeing in videos that people have posted, you do start going, what the hell is really going on here?
Yep.
Yeah, and when you start seeing, hey, wait a moment, this scene of destruction, I saw that scene of destruction in Ukraine. Why am I seeing this one now? It's the exact same footage in this area. What's going on? And yes, it has been done. I mean, it's just like during the Civil War, where they would go out there and you see all these bodies of soldiers or whatever, and then and even World War I and all that. And then you find out later that the photographer went out there and laid the bodies out in a certain way to capture what it was. So you're not getting a true representation.
I can see people doing that,
the victims of battle, but obviously it's doing its point or driving a point. So it's like, we've always been manipulated in one fashion or another. It's just how do we get beyond the manipulation? And it's not an easy job. It means that you have to get out of your little comfort zone. It means you have to get out of your bubble. It means you actually have to think and not follow blindly. And it's just, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, it's sad.
It is.
And it's just amazing in this last year or so that all of a sudden we're getting saber rattling around the world.
Very true.
And somehow we're getting dragged into it.
We are, unfortunately, on two fronts.
Yes.
Oh, going to be three.
Yeah.
Don't kid yourself. There's other stuff brewing out
there. I know, Barrett. I know.
I know you know.
It's on our back doorstep. It's right on our back doorstep. It's knocking.
Right. I mean, how soon until Rocket Man feels frisky enough that he can get away?
Oh, well, this is a perfect time for enemies and other people that want to cause problems. This is a perfect time because a certain person who's in the White House. But I don't want to go too far. YouTube, yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, 6 billion to Iran, and what do they do? Death to USA.
I think
death to infidel.
I think they stopped that, actually. They were going to send that, and then there was something they stopped that. I don't think they actually got all
but
that
the
money.
thing is, the worst thing than that, what's the first thing that comes out of their lips is death to us. And it's like, okay, well,
oh, I know.
Cancel the check. Call the bank.
It's like that Mad TV skit. Did you guys ever see that one? It's so funny. That Mad TV skit, Death to America, every time. It was funny. I'll have to show it to you. It's hilarious the way they set it up. But
yeah. And people, Taiwan and China.
Yep, you got it, Dempsey.
And you know what's going to happen with that, and there with with Taiwan, somehow Rocket Man's going to get involved.
Look, and we need to keep. Well, he's Rocket Man's going to put pressure on Japan too. It's just or China is, I should say. North Korea might also. I don't know, but yeah, it's not good. Japan and Taiwan deserve to stay free, and but they're still. If it's China or North Korea, they're still pushing them, and it's not good. It's not good.
No.
I haven't heard much from Little Rocket Man, actually, so I don't know if he's sick again.
Don't worry, he's waiting in the wings.
I'm sure he is.
Waiting.
Yeah, he's coming.
I'm sure he is.
He's coming. Don't worry.
That's what we all have to keep on our consciousness, that he and others will take this opportunity to do something.
Right.
And as I will tell people, and I don't care what it is, ask questions. I don't care what it is. If you're at a convention, for example, you want to know, ask questions. If these people are going to make you leave, you don't have to be rude to them, but they certainly love to be rude to you. Especially when you ask them certain questions, like you don't have to call them pinheads and this and that, but wherever it is, even us standing in front of Congress, especially when it's our own taxpayer money, we have a right as American citizens, a right to ask any dang questions we want, especially when our own money is being used for purposes they shouldn't be. They should be mostly used for this fucking country that we live in.
Right.
Look at all your industries right now. They all look like shitholes. Yeah, that's right. I came out and said it. They all look like shitholes.
Gosh. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I don't care what it is. If you ask, why do you think that this is a good direction for this? And if they say security escort you out, it means you're doing something right. And if they're really that sensitive that they can't answer these questions, then screw them. Don't buy their products. Don't listen to them. Whatever. If they're going to act like that, then they're not worth your time. They're just not.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, these people are supposed to be experts in their fields, right? Because they either are in a position in the government, or they are working for a publishing outfit, or whatever. And you come up with a question, they go, "Well, that's stupid. How can you ask that stupid question?" It's like the comeback is no. It's an ignorant question because I don't know, and you're the person who's supposed to know, and that's how you react.
That's right.
And you can't tell me what's wrong with you. It's not a stupid question because I am ignorant. I'm wanting to learn. And you're supposed to tell me this.
Yep.
You're supposed to be able to tell me this, but no. Oh, by the way, I'm still not blocked, folks. So we're still keeping track of that. So we're about an hour and 40 minutes into this show, and I'm still not blocked. So,
well, let's go ahead and switch topics as long as you guys are fine with that, and we're all done discussing this.
The last thing I got to sit back and say is, I don't want any money to go to Israel. I don't want any money to go to Ukraine. Oh my God, I'm anti-Semitic and I'm anti. No, the thing is that I don't want money to go to anybody. Keep it here. That's all.
Keep it here. Help our people here. Help our infrastructure here.
Yes. Yes. Do a lot here, and then maybe we can start giving money to other people. But first, we should care about. I know our country first. I know it's scary.
Yep. But that's the only thing I got to step back and say. We have to worry about our nation first, and that's not being arrogant. That's not being mean. It's not because, like I said it before. I said it with you guys. It's like being in the plane, and they say when those oxygen masks come down, you put yours on first before you help anybody else. Because if you don't,
That's right.
you could be, you won't be able to help anybody. You'll be out cold, and that's the last thing I got to say.
Okay. Yep.
And Spartacus says another issue is we back the Arab Spring that destabilized the Middle East. We go into forced government changes to be like the West without changing their cultures. It won't work. No, you can't change
I
it.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yep.
And this is the big point right here. Dempsey mentions that we're $3 trillion in debt. There is no money to give away. Yet, there are certain people in Washington right now who are printing money like it's going out of style.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be doing that.
Nope.
So, now moving on to our next story here. I'll go ahead and put the link to it in the chat. And if anybody has a problem with us talking about this morning, well, you know what? Take it up with me. Don't take it up with Aaron. Don't take it up with Cash. Take it up with me.
I don't know. We'll talk then. I have an issue. I didn't get enough time to talk. That's my issue.
So, we have some sad news here. We lost a great actor this week. Burt Young, who played Paulie in Rocky, has passed away at the age of 83. This was posted on the 18th. It's by Carmel Dagan, and it says Burt Young, who played Paulie in 6 of the Rocky films starring Sylvester Stallone, drawing an Oscar nomination for supporting actor for his performance in the 1976 original, has died. His daughter Anne Moria Stingerzer, there's a tongue twister, confirmed to the New York Times he was 83. Roger Ebert gave Young his props for his performance in the first Rocky film, and Burt Young, as Adrian's brother, defeated the resentful, loyal fighter caring about people enough to hurt them just to draw attention to his grief, the New York Times. In an absolutely scathing, completely dismissive review of the film, nevertheless, Burt Young is effective as Rocky's best friend, a beer guzzling mug.
Yeah.
Young's temperamental, jealous, but nonetheless loyal and caring Paulie was Rocky's best friend, who would defend the Italian stallion if someone insulted him. But he was a problematic friend who shouts at Adrian during her pregnancy, resulting in the premature birth of Rocky's son. Well, you know this is written by someone of current day when they say problematic.
Yeah. I got the buzzwords already. Let's see how many I can put in.
Yep. Draws Balboa into a street fight, and in 1990s Rocky V, which I don't recommend anybody watching. It really isn't that good. And Phil, don't get any ideas. Is the cause of Balboa's bankruptcy. In 2006, Rocky Balboa, Paulie is back where he started, working at the meat packing plant, but he's laid off and loses his skepticism about Rocky's return to the ring and serves as his cornerman. Young did not appear in 2015's Creed, as Paulie is said to have died in 2012. The exceptionally prolific Young, who was never much to look at. Oh, jeez. What does that matter? He had the acting chops.
That's just
Why would somebody Oh my
Wow,
gosh!
how shallow can
Wow.
you be? How shallow could you be?
I bet you they're the first ones to go out there and cry about fat shaming.
Mm. Making
Wow,
him the perfect character actor.
that's not necessary. Wow,
Nope,
Variety, just
nope.
wow.
The man passed away, and that's what you have to say about it. Someone who just passed away. Well, that
Right.
tells me everything I need to know about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a schmuck. Well,
Wow.
I could say worse, but we're on YouTube.
But it says making him the perfect character actor had a way of taking a thug or a goon or a mug and giving him more personality, more sympathy somehow than the role deserved. That's a
Okay, I'm
quality
just going to break
actor.
in.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's what I'm going to break into. Young ego was not was so in check that he didn't feel he had to be the star, knowing that having the character actor, the sidekick, whatever, is just as important in the role, and he's going to play the hell out of it, which he did, which makes him a perfect character actor. The most important thing about it is the ego in check, because it's hard for a
Mhm.
lot of actors to do that. They want, so many want to be the star and get mad that they're second fiddle or a character, being used as a character actor. It's
Yeah,
like,
they want the
I
spotlight.
worked
They
with,
want the
yeah.
headline.
And the funny thing is if you do it right, just like we're reading in this one, the character actor gets more spotlight than you can ever imagine, and sometimes they're the ones that make the movie
Mhm.
because the star is a hot
Sometimes
shot.
sometimes you go to a movie because of the supporting actor, not the main actor. You're like, I like the
Right.
supporting actor. I wanted to see them in this role.
Hmm. Exactly. I mean, look at Clint Howard and all, and how basically he made a ton of money being a character actor, while his
Mhm.
brother goes on to become a lead actor and then a director. But I mean, honestly, if you know how to play it, Jack Elam, same thing. Where if he wasn't playing the bad guy, he was playing that character actor. Um, it, there is a skill and a talent and humility to playing a character actor. That's what they should be going on, not the fact that he wasn't much to look at.
Wow,
Whoever's
that's
writing this, I'm sure they aren't either.
Mhm.
man, that's
It's
wow,
pretty low.
Variety.
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Wow, Variety. That's
I mean, it is different when you have friends coming together and doing your little, with
Your
the
little
wave and
jokes,
stuff
your
like
little
that.
jabs, and
Right. Because that's what they expect. It's like, you better be, poking fun at me while I'm sitting in that casket. I don't want people crying. That's one thing. It's people who know each
Mhm.
other. It's, personal inside jokes that they have. Uh, I doubt this person who wrote this even met the man. So,
and
so
the article go ahead, Cash.
so you guys okay, so he popped up in an episode of Walker Texas Ranger in 92 episodes actually in 96 97. I'm looking for stuff that you guys would remember besides Rocky. And didn't you guys watch Chinatown? And they said he also popped up, I think, in The Sopranos, right?
well, yeah.
I think he was
Well,
in The
you're going to see
Sopranos.
even more of it right here.
Yeah,
You're going to see more of it in this
yeah,
story
one
here. It says,
episode in
yeah.
The Sopranos. Okay. And Chinatown. And I'm guessing you guys saw Chinatown?
I
Uh,
haven't watched it in a
so long
long
ago.
Okay.
while. It
Yeah.
it
Yeah, so
it was
long
one of
ago.
those movies my
Yeah,
dad
it's
watched.
74, so yeah.
All right, so this article says in a negative 2011 review of Robert Aldrich's 1977 police dramedy, The Choir Boys, a poor adaptation Joseph the Joseph Wambaugh novel, critic Richard Winters wrote, "There are a few bright spots. I really liked the Burt Young character. Many people remember him best from the Rocky movies. Here he plays an incredibly grungy, crass police sergeant who exposes a tender side at a completely unexpected moment. That's because he was a good actor."
Yep. He knew how to do it.
Mhm. Young played one of the truckers in Sam Peckinpah's extra role Convoy. You could have just said Convoy. You didn't have to add a fancy word to it.
Well, they're variety.
I know. Starring Chris Christopherson and play the chauffeur and bodyguard of the Rodney Dangerfield character in the 1986 Back to School.
That was
my
a good
favorite movies to watch as a kid.
Very good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was good in that. He's just no doubt.
Yes.
Well, him and Rodney both. Shit,
Another example of the actor managing to score despite a generally mediocre film was Robert Aldrich's 1981 Girls of Wrestling film, All the Marbles, starring Peter Falk. Critic Dennis Schwartz wrote in 2011, Burt Young is the oily wrestling promoter who resents Falk for his independence, has a nice turn and a supporting role. Again, just because they're not the lead actor who gets all, the glamour and limelight doesn't mean they're not a quality actor. Sometimes the supporting actor is actually there and actually outshines the main actor.
Right.
Let's see. In a memorable scene in Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America, which came out in 1984, so it's going to be 40 years old next year. That also featured a young Joe Pesci. Young played a hood who eats crudely and tells a very off-color story about how he got clued into a Detroit diamond shipment right for heisting. The actor played.
It's a good movie, but long. But it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm. The actor played Bed Bug Eddie, a vindictive mobster who's 150. I don't know if they meant million or 1,000 because, yeah, variety. You need to edit your articles.
Yeah.
I'll just say 150,000.
A lot of money.
Yeah. I was just going to say 150,000. So the two protagonists in 1984's The Pope of Greenwich Village, played by Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke. Excuse me. I need to take a sip of water. Give me a second.
Who played Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke's unwisely steal from his safe. So I know I have not seen The Pope of Greenwich Village. So I can't say, but
me either.
That'd be an impression. You know what? Now I'm tempted to see it because Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke, they're both good actors in their own rights. But then Joe Pesci, coming in, it's like boom.
Okay, let me pick it up here. Eric Roberts, Mickey York, and another characterful turn in Yul Eld's 1990 Last Exit to Brooklyn. He played Big Joe, one of many who's thrown out of work by the strike at the heart of the movie. He is violent, none too bright, and yet somehow a decent man concerned about his family. A classic Burt Young character. Big Joe's wife tells one day, okay, well, again, they needed to proofread this, that his daughter, played by Ricky Lake, is 8 months pregnant, to which he replies, she's just fat. That was the character. That was the character.
And it's kind of funny though. People start associating the characters that they play to who the person really is. If he was, if Burt Young was really that young, or if he was really that way in real life, he wouldn't be able to play these roles.
That's true. In the 1999 romantic comedy Mickey Blue Eyes, in which Hugh Grant falls in love with a gal, Janine Triplehorn, from a mobbed up family, James Caan played her father and Yun the Big Boss. By this point, Yun had made as many movies with Caan as he had with Stallone. Okay. Well, sometimes, and you notice it, that certain actors who work well together, if they see that one is working on a film and they're offered a role for that film and they see that someone they enjoy working with is there, they're going to take the
Right.
role.
Right.
It says in 2006, Transamerica, in which Felicity Huffman delightfully played a very proper pre-op transsexual who's traveling across the country.
Oh, come on.
Fiona, or however you pronounce that. I'll just say Fiona.
Yeah.
Flanagan and Young played her crass parents, whom she visits in Phoenix.
They didn't need to write that way.
No,
Talk
no,
about...
no. No, I'm not going to go through the rest of this article because maybe it's just me, but it seems like the author of this article is just taking digs at certain roles that
Well, yeah,
Young took because
yeah,
those are the types of
and
roles that
also
he liked to
promoting.
play. Yeah,
Right. He was great at him. Carmel Dagan, you're a moron.
Yeah.
All you're wanting to do is push agendas. I mean, you're pushing agendas in this man's basically obit. It's like, leave that crap out and just talk about him and how good he was.
Talk about him, his career. Don't add your little digs and
opinions and
okay, this person. Okay, so this is a person who talks about, obviously. This Carmel Dagan person does articles on all these people who have passed away, but
well, they need to have more compassion, more empathy when these people pass away, instead of putting in little digs and little shots.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's variety for you.
Well, yeah.
Embarrassment. Yeah, she's every article that she's done is about somebody who's passed away, it looks like.
And the thing is in all this, I don't know what Burt Young's political leanings are. I don't know how he truly is in real life. I don't care. What I care about was the fact he was a great actor. And if he was 180 degrees different than me in political belief, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away what he was able to do with a role.
Yeah, what he brought to the role, what he brought to the film.
Yeah.
I mean, when Carmel Dagan is like, Salon and Variety, you can tell right there what type of hack this person is.
Yep. But yeah, those are all her articles about people who have passed away.
In my opinion, if you're writing somebody's obituary, you write it in a respectful manner.
Yeah. I mean, you can mention some of their tragedies, but even stuff like Whitney Houston, they wanted to sugarcoat thing. I'm like, that's not good, guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you do want to sometimes hit the downs and the struggles that they had in life, because it shows. First of all, that they're human, and then you start identifying that they work. They had struggles too. I can appreciate this. It goes beyond. It gives that third dimension to this person where we only have that two-dimensional of their character.
Yeah.
And it's like, that they struggle with this, but they're able to come back from it. Or even if they lost their battle with something, it's just it brings into that touch of humanity, that these people were human.
Yes.
And it's not being insulting. Right. It's not being judging. This is how it was. They had great victory here. They had lobes here, and they're a great actor.
Right. And I even want to see, even though this man or person or lady or whatever, something happened to them tragically, or they did drugs, they still gave us entertainment. If I was going to write something about John Belushi, it's like he still gave us some of the greatest comedies ever on ever movies. at least two of them.
Mhm.
I mean, Blues Brothers is I
Did you
would
say
I love that movie. Paul still hasn't seen that movie, and he needs to.
Oh,
Be happy
he's
to
gotta
watch that
see
with him.
it.
I love that. That is a classic comedy. Even my own college ranked that number one.
it's one of
Yeah.
my favorites?
No.
It is. It's especially when you hear what they originally were wanting to do and what came out. And it's like, yeah, you went the right route. You made
You
an
know,
all-time
it's
classic.
it's the same with people like John Candy. It's like even though they had drug problems, that's why it's not
Mhm.
it's not good to deceive the people, the readers that are reading it about Whitney
Mhm.
Houston. It's like, yeah, she had drug problems, but she brought this kind of a fame to people. Like
Right.
leaving
She
that
brought
out,
joy
even
to people.
exactly. So, but she
Well,
ended up
yeah.
having problems in relationships and other things. And, you shouldn't sugarcoat
Mhm.
anything. I mean, even though Cornell had probably had one of the greatest classic rock voices of all time, or one of the best, he had other demons. People like Chester
Mhm.
Bennington from Linkin Park had demons, but that doesn't take away from what they brought to people and the joy they brought to people.
Well,
And
well,
Sparta
and
Chris
while
is
they're fighting
even
these,
bringing up here. Funny how all this happens after the actors pass away when they can't defend themselves. I consider that the lowest of the low when you attack somebody who has passed away and they can't defend themselves. I'm not talking about the people that
right,
have done devious and ugly things. I'm talking about good people who have passed away and somebody decides to take a
Yeah.
pot shot at them because they're not there to defend themselves. I think
right,
that's the lowest of the low.
right. You're right. Yeah. Uh, he's on secret probation. But
All
that's
right.
just it. When you start hearing about them with their struggles, and they're doing a struggle, but yet they're out there still doing their job.
Mhm.
You know, Whitney with her problem, she's out there still, trying to sing for people. Uh, you have, people with obviously the problems, and they're still trying to get their acting, do the job that they're doing acting wise. And even when they're absolutely sick, you don't know that how sick they are, and they complete that last movie, and you hear that they die, you know, a few days later, or even in a case like the main actor for Father Ted, he died that night of the last episode they filmed. But they still go through, and it
Mhm.
only leads to one thing: is like you sympathize for what they're battling, and you admire their tenacity to still fight through and do what they love.
Yeah.
And so that's a double-end thing. You start thinking, oh, we're gonna psych this person because they were out there taking morphine and all that, and it's like, yeah, but they were still fighting through and doing stuff,
Yeah.
and find out why they were hooked on it. Get yourself an
Mhm.
education.
Yeah.
What brought them down that road?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I mean,
They still gave you a lot of joy,
JF,
but we can't. That's why when you're doing a biography of someone, don't leave out certain things because you think it's going to offend people. Put it in there. If it happened, it
right.
happened.
I mean, JFK was geefing it up inside the White House. Why? Well, he was doing it in that rocking chair that he always sat in because his back was injured massively with PT-109 when he pulled in front of a Japanese destroyer. He was using it to try to get the pain down. He was suffering from pain. People don't want to talk about the fact he was geefing up about that, but now it brings it to another level of not pity but sympathy for what the man's going through. He's not geefing up because he wants to be a dopehead. He's beefing up because he wants to get rid of this freaking pain. Yeah, and absolutely hate the sin, not the sinner.
Mhm. And
Unless
yeah,
it's my, then you gotta love it.
let me go ahead and take a look at what Sparta Cruz sent me.
Uh
Okay. All right. Well, let me go
I'm
ahead and share
guessing it's
this.
something we've already seen, though, Chris. But
Hopefully it's
yeah,
boobies. I hope it's boobies.
it's not.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I
man.
want boobies.
Sorry,
I like
sorry
boobs.
to disappoint you, Baron. Sorry to
I like
disappoint you.
boobs.
I do too, but unfortunately,
Disappointed.
unfortunately, the boobs are the ones writing our television and
Wait.
acting in front of the camera right now, or
Well,
not acting in
actually,
front of the camera in this
I was
case.
just gonna sit back and. Actually, I was going to say we're kind of reliving Total Recall here. We got the three boobs here.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. What?
What's
Oh,
this?
there's a lot of stuff. I've also found out. Jay sent me something earlier. They actually downgraded this from the remastered version, which is crazy to me. And this is Spider-Man 2. There should be an upgrade. Those things are not. It's just more nitpicking, but it's kind of like you guys are doing a new version of this and it's on PS5 and you have all these reviewers saying how great this game looks and it looks pretty cool, but there's definitely a downgrade. But
yeah, I was going to say I don't think that was the Cubano flag. I thought that was the Puerto Rican flag.
So what's what now? There's a lot of stuff in this Spider-Man game that just makes me roll my eyes. Unfortunately, Insomniac Games is once again, I will point out if you enjoy this game, that's fine, man. But why is a lot of this stuff necessary? I just don't think in a Spider-Man game.
It's not.
Yeah. So what did that say? Did you want to read that, Mike? Or
they're saying that it was the Cuban flag, but it's the Puerto Rican flag, and they don't.
of course.
They don't understand what they're trying to represent.
Right.
Are we surprised? No.
Of course not. Hey, let's celebrate Cuba in this game that has all these trans and homosexuals. When the first thing that Castro and when Che Guevara was alive would have taken them out and lined up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So speaking of Spider-Man 2, I do have this article here from Cosmic Book News. It says Venom video game spinoff after Spider-Man 2 possible. Who knows what agendas they'll throw into that game?
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see what the modders do to these games because they can do a lot. So we'll see what they do.
This article is by Matt.
Never mind. Ladies' dream date. That's all I gotta say.
This article is by Matt McGloin. It was posted on Thursday, October 19th. It says Venom video. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. A Venom video game spinoff from Marvel Spider-Man 2 could be possible, teases the studio behind the game Insomniac Games, but only if fans demand it. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 gets released this week and unleashes Venom, where players can play as Spidey with the powers of the symbiote. It goes on to say that's not all, as players will do. Battle as Spidey is set to go up against his archenemy in the game, which includes actor Tony Todd providing the voice. Well, there's a good quality actor for you.
There we go. Again, a character actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah, Tony Todd. Yep. Yes. That one. I don't like soft ass shit. Oh, you don't?
He was also in the Hellraiser movies.
Good role in The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wasn't he Candyman?
Was it Hellraiser? No, it was Candyman. It was Candyman.
I'm sorry. I mixed it up. My bad. I'll admit it. My bad.
Okay. Yellow card. This has been 5 minutes.
All right. Fine.
Sorry, I've been watching too much rugby.
No worries, Bear. No worries. I'll admit when I make a mistake.
But I just want to sit back and say one thing here. This is a perfect example when we see someone who is your quote unquote character actor and we get excited. Oh, he's in us.
Yeah, he's providing his voice. All right. It's like when he provided his voice for Kern in Star Trek Online. It's like they actually got him.
Yeah.
It says Inverse caught up with Insomniac Games, where the game's senior narrative director John Paqua, said, I want this to be one of the best Venom stories you've ever experienced. The site asked about the possibility of a Venom spin off game, so here's what we're doing. We're focused on Spider Man 2, and what we're going to do is we're going to wait and see how the fans react. We're going to listen to the fans, and we're going to ask ourselves, okay, what do the fans really want? Are you really going to do that? Are you really going to do that? Or are you just saying that and then you're just going to do what you guys always seem to do nowadays and make the game in what you want, not what the fans want?
Yeah. And then attack the fans because they don't like it.
Yeah. Says we'll kind of talk
Yeah.
about stuff after we've all had time to sleep and take vacations. He added, well, I think you've had plenty of time to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It says Tony Todd excited. Tony Todd also recently chatted with Marvel.com about playing Venom. I think Venom is one of the coolest Marvel characters ever created, Todd offered. Every time I think of going in and recording him, I'm smiling all the way from Marina Del Rey to Burbank, and I can't wait to step into the booth.
Oh, I love hearing that.
He
Again,
says,
humble and loves the role.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He says, I grew up an only kid, right? He's like a guy when you go into that growth spurt. I had a very high voice until junior year, and all of a sudden everything changed. But I was
That is
uncoordinated,
right.
and all the coaches laughed at me. It was an English teacher who gave me a copy of The Tempest that changed my perspective and said, oh, I can do that, he recalled.
It is
I
hard
think
to
when,
believe that he had a high voice until
yeah,
junior
it's
high. I mean,
considering how
voice
deep his voice is, his baritone voice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not like 24/7 Fusion Media where he blows that shit up, but it's pretty damn deep.
Mm-hmm. I think when people play this game, there's going to be different sides, of course. People are rooting for Spider Man and Miles, but I think there's going to be a whole section of people that are saying, well, what can Venom do? Why do I like him? Because he's just doing it with abandon, he said. And that's it. Well,
A lot
see,
of
there,
fluff.
a lot of fluff, a lot of, you know, a lot of hole to do about nothing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a possibility. You can consider it a rumor, but I thought it was interesting. Excuse me.
Yeah.
When I saw the headline, I thought, sorry, I got to mute myself again.
Yeah, you see that on there and the spinoff, and now knowing that Tony Todd's involved.
Yeah.
You pray that this is going to be a good game. You're going to pray that they get the bullshit out of it and just let's have a good story.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see just on PS5 alone how much Spider-Man 2 is going to make. That's going to be interesting. Is it going to make more than the first game? But there's a lot of freaking agenda crap in there, and so a lot. There's more than the Miles Morales game. There's definitely more than the first Spider-Man. There was barely anything. There was a little bit. It's just like games like Starfield. There's a little bit, tiny bit, Baron, but everything else not really. You know, they just that game just needs a bit more to it. It needs a bit more, but it could become a great space game. Look what happened to No Man's Sky. Yeah. People bash that. Look at what happened to Cyberpunk. You know.
I'm
Chris.
hoping that they do.
Unfortunately,
the fall has arrived in my area, and I'm dealing with it.
He's allergic to working with us.
But once again, I will always point this out. Like, we don't hate you because you bought this game, but you might want to ask yourself also, how much of this crap do they need to put in a game and we just accept it now? If there's a lot of optional stuff like Bear Gate 3 or Baldur's Gate 3, there's still a game there. There's still solid gameplay in these Spider-Man games, but do you need all this stuff? That's what you have to ask yourself. And how much of this is going to be taken out by modders when this comes to PC? And a lot of this stuff is, if a lot of this is optional, that's fine. But then it's also like, why is it here? I don't know. But then they force this stuff on you. It's a mess. It's just a mess. Modern gaming can be just,
horrible.
Interesting. Okay. I'll have to look into that, Dempsey.
Yeah,
so if people want to buy this, no, go ahead. Yeah.
We don't hate you because you bought the game. We just hate you.
I mean, even with this game, even hearing that Tony Todd is, providing his voice for a character, it's not enough to make me want to buy a PS5.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about the PS5, and I want that greatness to come back. Like, I found actual greatness on the PS4. I want greatness on the PS5, and Spider-Man there shouldn't be all this stuff that I don't. If you guys don't care for that, it's fine. But for me, it's hard to just say, well, I can just, accept it. No, how much of this stuff do we have to accept before it just becomes too much? I think it's become too much anyways. It's just crazy to me when I have to hear things like, oh, Splinter Cell is going to be a remake for modern gamers. What? Modern sensibilities. Modern is this. Oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah.
Or a modern audience. That's what they like to also say, a modern audience. What does that mean? That doesn't sound good, and it just sounds like more buzzwords to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just a bunch of people sitting around inside their little bubble getting mad if you have a different thought than they do.
Right. And that's no good.
No. I mean, we have enough of that when we're in our own Discord. You know what I mean? How dare you think that way, Crit? You're out of here. You too, Cash. You're out of here.
You're out of here, Baron. What did you say?
But enough of film.
I'll see myself out. Thank you.
Yeah. But that's enough of Film McCracken.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, Chris. Infamous is a fun game. Even Second Son is a fun game. Those are fun games, man.
I wouldn't mind going back through Infamous myself. I still have it.
Infamous 1 and 2. I think a lot of people like Infamous 2 better than Second Son, but I can't say Second Son is not a quality game.
There's a lot of infamy going on.
And Phil says, I love my PS3 and PS4, but I want greatness from Cash Money. But
oh boy,
I realize I won't get greatness from Cash Money, but I got greatness from Pot Piggy. All right, I'm gonna let people know who Pot Piggy is. Pot Piggy is Paul, Master Paul of Fandomology.
No.
Oh,
we've been playing. We've been playing Myth Wars together, and Paul goes after all the special items, all the treasure, and
it's right on his stream, people. So it's not.
Yep,
you can't miss it. He also tries to kill people too in the game with the why I should shoot this, and I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
Okay, Paul. Those orange spores contain fire. Don't shoot it when. You just shot it when my character's near the spore, and now my character's on fire or my character's dead. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Fire.
It's like you don't have to shoot those things, and if you accidentally do it, just apologize and try not to do it again.
I still do because I just like setting you guys on fire. Fire. Yeah, fire.
Yeah, Baron's looking as he's battling enemies. Okay, where's Cash at? Oh, Cash is prime for me to blow up those spores. Ooh, so's Mike. All right.
Oh, I don't have to worry. You're already dead. So it's like, it's Cash. It's like, oh.
Well, I noticed
3 seconds in, he's down.
I noticed Pot Piggy. No, Pot Piggy.
Piggly?
I know Piggly. I came up with a new
Piggly
one,
Wiggly.
Pot Piggy was also running away from Mike. I watched that whole stream and I says, why is he running away from Mike, man? No, stay together a little bit more. Like, you can run away, but get back there. Get back there.
I always run away.
Stay in the group. Stay in the group. Stay in formation.
You can stay around, but then you're running off, and he's running off. And what is he doing? Opening the treasure chest. No, man. I saw that with my own 2 eyes.
Run away!
With
Paul
my
rules
own
for
2
exactly,
eyes.
MC.
Paul's just going all around. He doesn't care about his
Oh, man.
teammates. It's all
Yeah,
about
man.
him.
Yeah, man.
So you're saying he's the dwarf?
He likes to make sure that we're all fricasseed.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Well done.
Because whenever we
Well
do
done,
Vermintide and we get the dwarf guy
Charbroil.
coming in there.
Well, Myth Force, and then it'll be if you guys want either Vermintide again, or I was saying we go back to
what I'm saying,
Broforce. Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is Paul's like the dwarfs that we get. You know, the guys that come in. That
Oh,
play the,
yeah, of
The
course.
third, that's what I.
Do you
was
want
thinking,
him to play
that Paul-
Vermintide 2 with us? That would be
Yes.
fun, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. I mean, I don't care. I was just making a comparison. That's all I was.
All right.
But sure, what the hell? Sadly, we can't kill him though. But in there,
No.
this is a game, YouTube.
Yeah, and don't run off, Paul. If you say
it's a faux pas. Just watch Paul. Just watch Paul. You'll notice that it's not a faux pas.
You mean now we should call it a full Paul? It's a full Paul.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, as you can see, we got another article from Variety. This time it's by Zach Sharf, and it was posted not that long ago. It's actually posted on the 20th. It says, Killers of the Flower Moon, True Story, The Real Osage Nation, Murders Explained. In case you didn't know, Martin Scorsese has a new movie coming out called Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert, De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
So it says Martin Scorsese's 200 million epic. Why does it have to be 200 million? No wonder they're not making their money back with all these big budgeted movies. Well, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Needed to have more of those platform shoes, so he looks taller. Since he's only about 5'1".
Well, I'm gonna go see it Tuesday, so I can tell you guys how it is.
All right. Killers of the Flower Moon, based on David Grand's 2017 nonfiction book, centers on the Reign of Terror, a term the Osage Nation used to define the murders of it. Excuse me. I'm tired of these allergies. Of at least 60 community members in the late 1920s. The film tells this true crime tale through the lens of a marriage between Ernest Burkhart, Leonardo DiCaprio, a World War I veteran who relocates to Oklahoma to work with his rancher uncle, and Molly Burkhart, Lily Gladstone, a local Osage woman whose family was one of the community's wealthiest. Robert De Niro stars as Ernest's uncle, William Hale. As both Grand's book and Scorsese's film lay out, the cause for the murders trace back to the early 1870s when the U.S. government forced the Osage people to leave their Kansas lands and move to northeastern Oklahoma. The Osage brought their Oklahoma reservation, a game-changing decision that gave them rights over their new land. The U.S. government thought the Oklahoma area owned by the Osage was worthless, but everyone soon discovered the land was rich in oil. And that's why they killed them. As the New York Times reports, after large oil deposits were discovered in 1894, the Osage, who retained communal mineral rights, came into enormous wealth. Prospectors had to pay the tribe for leases to extract the oil, as well as royalties on profits. In 1923 alone, the Osage earned $30 million in royalties, the equivalent of roughly $540 million today. Says this is where Hale, De Niro, enters the story. He was a white cattle rancher who proclaimed himself the king of the Osage Hills. See the real hell on the right? Well, I pretty much figured that was the real life hell. It says he befriended many members of the Osage Nation so he could lease or buy acres from them for his business. But he secretly conspired against the Osage in order to rob them of their wealth. Hell figured out that if his white allies were to marry Osage members, they would be legally entitled to their Osage spouses' oil royalties since they passed through an inheritance. As long as there was a legal marriage in place, Hell could orchestrate the murder of an Osage so that the money passed through their white spouses. That sounds like a scumbag.
Mhm.
These oil royalties were known as head rights per the Times. Everyone of the 2,229 members of the Osage tribal rolls in 1907 were entitled to an equal share of oil royalties. These payments could amount to as much as 13,000 per year per person, or the equivalent of 232,000 today. A family of four would have received the equivalent of about 928,000 a year. Goes on to say, Grant explains in his book that head rights were not allowed to be bought or sold, so it's not like Hale could simply use blackmail or extortion to steal money from the Osage. The head rights could only be inherited, which is why Hale used marriage for non Osage men to gain access to Osage money. Says Hale convinced his nephew, Ernest DiCaprio, to marry a wealthy Osage woman, Molly Gladstone, in order to steal her family's wealth. Ernest and Molly, photographed above, married in 1917. Molly was a diabetic, so Hale reasoned that her death at a young age would not be too far fetched or looked into by excuse me by law enforcement. But Hill was greedy and wanted even more money. He planned the killings of Molly's sister Minnie and mother Lizzie Q through poisonings. Molly's other sister Rita died in a house explosion. Their finances all reverted back to Molly and Ernest. All the while, Hill was having Ernest slowly poison Molly so that all of these finances would be inherited by Ernest once Molly died. Molly had another sister, Anna Brown, but Hale orchestrated her murder by having her shot in the back of the head. The other killings, be it poisonings or a house explosion, were much harder to prove as murder, which is why the shooting finally caught the attention of the newly formed FBI, who sent Detective Tom White, played by Jesse Plemons, and other agents down to Oklahoma to investigate the killing. White and other FBI agents, excuse me again, spent several years embedded in the Osage Nation and gained the trust of enough members that they started speaking out against Hell, whose scheme had turned him into a millionaire. Hell and Ernest were arrested in 1926 for the murder of Rita, photographed above, and her husband Bill. During the trial, Ernest confessed to his role in the scheme and ratted out Hell as the head of the murder operation. Hell was sentenced to life in prison, but he was released on parole in 1947 after 18 years. It goes on to say Ernest, who was also sentenced to life in prison but got paroled in 1937. Molly ultimately recovered from the poison she had consumed and divorced Ernest. Smart move. She died of unrelated causes on June 16th, 1937. The three children she had with Ernest inherited her estate. Grant told The Independent that he interviewed Molly's granddaughter, Margie, when he was researching the Flower Moon book, and it was clear the family still resents Ernest for his betrayal. Well, you can't blame him. Margie showed me a photo of her dad and her aunt standing next to a man, Varen said. You can't see the man's head, and I had to ask, was this Ernest? And Margie said, yeah, my father ripped off his head. That photo told me everything. Here was a boy with an innocent photo of himself with his dad. At a certain point, he realized who his dad was and had to remove his face so he wouldn't have to look at his father. Another time, Margie took me to the graveyard and showed me all of her relatives who'd been murdered and said, I had to grow up without cousins. Says Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon is now playing in theaters nationwide from Paramount and Apple. Rand's book is available for purchase. Check out more photos related to the true story of Flower Moon below. And I thought this was interesting because this is an actual event that actually happened.
Right.
And those are the types of stories I'm interested in. Yes, I love sci-fi, fantasy and fiction, but I also like looking at true stories. And again, like I said with Masters of the Air, trying to determine, okay, what's what's been blown out of proportion by Hollywood and what's actual fact.
Right. Exactly. Because let's face it, Hollywood does some shitty history. And I'm hoping Scorsese will not. I mean,
No, he probably won't. There's a few people, Nolan and other people, who want to try to get things as right as possible. Can't always get everything,
right.
but
right. I mean, yeah. Obviously, things do get lost, but I mean, the fact that the people sometimes do it to change the narrative of the story from the actual history. So it's understandable that certain things sometimes get left behind because there's only so much information you can get out there, and especially in Scorsese, a 3.5 hour movie for Scorsese, which is a short film, or an average film, which is under 2 hours.
Yeah. But then this movie gets beaten by Taylor Swift's concert by like 10 million or something. It's something.
Oh well. It could just be one of those movies, just like with Oppenheimer. It has a certain appeal to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, just like The Irishman. How many people actually saw The Irishman? And it's a very good film. Again, 3.5 hours, but
it was really good, yeah, and it's basically what happened to Hoffa, who killed him and stuff. It's crazy, supposedly, according to that book. So yeah,
right, and see people out there, the directors. We talk stuff other than science fiction and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
We know we watch stuff other than that. We appreciate things, so yeah.
Like I said earlier, there's more to a lot of us than what we present. There's more to Cash, there's more to Baron, there's more to myself than talking science fiction all the time and video games all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes,
that Woman King is based on a lie, and there's actually a video out there of why the first actress didn't want to do it. It's incredible how they spend that. I would love to look at Viola Davis and look in her face and say, listen, you were in Fences. That was a very good, based on a play and stuff. Why do you have to act like this? This is based on a lie. And you call me racist. You can say it right to my face, but I still have the facts. And that movie is a blatant lie. That's what that film is.
Right.
The Woman Kings. They were the ones who had the slaves. They did. That's just the facts. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not being mean. It's not being nasty, and history is not pretty.
No.
But facts are hate speech. Facts.
That's
right. Facts hurt.
Logic too. Logic is hate speech also.
Yeah,
of course.
But they hurt feelings.
That's right. That's right.
They hurt feelings, and my feelings are hurt because I want people. I want Che Guevara to be this imaginary hero that he's made out to be, and not the murdering thug he really was.
Yeah.
I want him to be this fantasy perception and go, wow, look at that. My fantasy. No. Come to reality.
Yeah.
Face facts.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So we do have one final story for this afternoon's edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk.
Yeah. Have you guys actually watched any of this Rebel Moon? I think Jace has.
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
They say this is like some kind of new Star Wars or better Star Wars. I don't know. I've seen some interesting.
I've heard that it was pitched as a Star Wars story, and Disney rejected it, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what it is. I have to confess, I'm interested. Just bypassing a lot of the BS hype, and I know Zack Snyder, he hates us, but still, he's a good director.
Does he hate us? Maybe he does.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
he hates. He goes after the fans when he can.
There's some
easy to
things
go
I
after
like
the
that he
fans.
did. He directed 300, and I don't care what anybody
Yeah.
says. I think that was a great movie. I think Watchmen is still underrated. I did not like his Batman versus Superman overall. Especially the first hour, I found that boring. Even the extended cut that Crit showed me, I found it boring personally. And people are like, "Oh, this is before Lex Luthor." I'm like, "Ugh, okay, well, if that's the case, please, I don't like this." I personally
That's because you're boring.
That's right. Have you seen
Maybe
that movie though?
I'm the boring one here.
Have you seen that movie though, Baron? At all, the Superman's versus
No, I
versus
haven't.
Batman versus Superman. Excuse me, Batman versus Superman.
No, I have not seen it. I have to confess.
Well, and
that's why
I'm still worried about Zack Snyder. Well, I don't know what Zack Snyder's going to do next, or I guess this is what he's working on. But I don't know how James Gunn is going to handle Superman, this and that. And why can't we get a Green Lantern movie that is really awesome based on either Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan? Like a live action film. I think we've only had that one with Ryan Reynolds. Is that the only one, or have we had another Green Lantern movie that I'm not?
No, we've only had the one live action
I thought
film.
so. Yeah, that's the only one, and they haven't. Yeah, I would love to see a really good Green Lantern film with I don't know, and Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart could both be in it. They've done it in animation. Why can't we do it in a live action movie? I must asking for too much.
Yeah, you are, because it's like to them you're asking for the moon. You're asking for the moon. How dare you? How dare you?
That's
and,
right.
just let you know that I am still not banned
Baron
by
Thumber?
Tim Sheridan.
You aren't. That's amazing, man. He hasn't seen
Don't
it
worry.
yet,
By the end of the day, or sometime tomorrow, you're gonna check and you're gonna see that you've been blocked.
I'm a little hurt. I am a little hurt. I have to sit back and say.
He just might have not seen it yet. Give it a little time.
Yeah. Maybe I have to do a post. I mean, not mean post. I mean, just a post.
It doesn't have to be a mean post. If you say something and within that paragraph he sees something that he doesn't like, then he's probably going to block you.
Well, I mean, I basically, what I said, and you guys in the chat and all that, is this mean? After he has this Tim, age flexible, and he's talking about, finally flexing, basically writing for the biggest characters in pop culture, Batman, Superman, he's banned basically all the men. Itchy to finally flex his huge comedy and drama, but not actual. That's funny. He sure seems to be bringing drama to the table. Muscles in a room outside animation plus comics. Queer does not know it. Queer but does not know it. That's how he ends the thing. I responded back. Another stake to the heart for dying comics. DC. Agenda over story.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean? I don't think that's mean.
No, it's not mean at all.
No.
He'll probably perceive it as such. That's on him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's nice compared to what some other people were saying. One person says he's a pathetic cat. I mean,
So we have this article from comicbook.com, and it says Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon prequel comic announced by Titan Comics. Titan Comics and Zack Snyder are bringing fans a prequel comic of Rebel Moon. This was posted on Friday on their website. Titan Comics is publishing a prequel comic for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. The prolific filmmaker is bringing his Rebel Moon universe to Netflix in December, starting with Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. The film boasts an all-star cast including Sophia Boutella. I probably said that wrong.
I don't know who that is.
And Dejman Hosu. That's a tongue twister right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Skieran, Mikkel Hulsen, Juna Bay, Ray Fisher, Charlie Hunin, Staz Nar, and Cleopatra Coleman. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
When are we going to get to the stars? When are we going to get to the all stars? Where's the stars?
Yeah.
I mean, I just heard background characters.
I don't know. I don't know any of those folks.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
I
to
wouldn't
say.
go with all-star cast.
Maybe Ray Fisher is the only one that I recognize.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not familiar with any of the work that anybody else has been in.
Right. I mean, they should have just gone and boost an up-and-coming cast.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be more intriguing to me. An up-and-coming cast. Oh, I wonder what's going on here. Are we going to be getting the next generation? Because we need that.
So this article goes on to say, as for the upcoming comic, Rebel Moon, House of the Bloodaxe debuts January 2024 and is based on a story by Zack Snyder and written by Eisner-nominated Mags Visaggio.
Okay.
Kim and Kim. Transformers versus Visionaries with art by Clark Bent and colors by Francesco Segla.
Oh, by the way, I have to apologize, Mike. I should have done this instead.
I don't know who any of those people are.
Funny, I was just thinking about that.
that makes you, and
yeah. Well, remember, you got control now, Cash. You could have hit it too. Come on.
It's all right.
You've grown up to the big leagues now.
I know. I'm just listening.
And then this Cash sitting there going, "This is what he thinks."
You really are a fat bastard.
That's what. See, I did that for you. Next time.
Here, this is how I feel right now, Baron.
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Rebel Moon, House of the Bloodaxe takes place 5 years before the events of Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, and should provide fans eager to learn more about this world ample opportunity to do just that. Well, if the movie's coming out in December and this isn't coming out till January, isn't that bad marketing? Wouldn't you want the prequel comic to come out before the movie in case people wanted to read that backstory?
Yeah, kind of like they did with that Countdown comic book series for the Jar Jar Abrams Star Trek film.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually was a better Star Trek story than we've gotten from any of these Hunyucks.
Yeah, very true. It says, I'm excited to collaborate with Mags to explore the rich and complex backstory of the Bloodaxe siblings, said Zack Snyder. In Rebel Moon, House of the Bloodaxe, fans will get to discover their motivation as well as the genesis of the rebellion. Well, you could have told that in the movie. Oh, wait a minute. They don't do that anymore. Max Visaggio describes the book as a Shakespearean tragedy. It's all extremely personal. Family in conflict with its patriarch, of course, who is in conflict with himself at the moment when they need to be united. It's a story about failure and the consequences of failure. And it says that the prequel comic description states that Rebel Moon, House of the Bloodaxe, is set 5 years before the events depicted in Rebel Moon Part 1, The Child of Fire. The comic House of Bloodaxe provides backstory for the characters of Devra and Darian Bloodaxe, leaders of a band of outlaw revolutionaries played by Cleopatra Coleman and Ray Fisher, and their formidable family's history. Well, they could have done that in the movie. That could have been part 1, then part 2 leads into the war. As war is looming on the horizon on the planet Shashus, Konzutai, the leader of the Bloodaxe family is conflicted between living up to his father's domineering legacy and maintaining the peace. It is up to him to settle the conflicts within himself and his family before the entire planet erupts in war. Rebel Moon, House of the Bloodaxe #1 goes on sale January 10th, 2024. You can find covers by Stanley Lau and Raphael Albuquerque and Baldemar Rivas and Andre Olimpieri. Probably not even close with that one. As well as interior art by Clark Bent and Francisco Segula. Of course, this is the artwork.
Interesting covers.
Yeah, I mean, this one reminds me of, a 1950s movie poster or, science fiction, fantasy, even this one.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what this is my question. Why do we have to get a prequel comic in order to learn the backstory when you could just tell it in the movie itself? I don't know. Maybe I'm just asking for too much from them to actually tell the backstory within the movie itself
Right.
instead of having to get another piece of media to do it.
Well, again, I always still love to point to it. Star Wars, the original, the soliloquy or whatever you want to call it, that Obi-Wan has of as he explains the kind of a rough history of everything to Luke, which fills a lot of information in that, but still leaves a lot open that you want to know more. But you know what's going on. You know that there was a republic. You knew that the Jedi were betrayed and that they were murdered, and that this guy by the Vader was in charge, and this empire rose up. There's a thing called the Clone Wars. So
Hmm.
you and Obi-Wan and Anakin fought together in that. So I mean, you got this massive amount of backstory, but yet it left it open that you want more and you could tell more. You didn't need to have something special to explain it all. That's what the prequels really is.
Or even being in Star Wars and having the mention of the Clone Wars, you don't necessarily have to tell the story, even though they did, but it gives you a little bit more weight to what's been going on in that universe. Okay, there was something
Right.
called the Clone Wars, and
Hmm.
this particular character fought alongside Luke's father.
Yeah. And it's a neat name, Clone Wars. It's like, it gets your mind going. What the hell was this all about? And it's like, what is it? What is it? let's face it. When you first heard Clone Wars, didn't that start opening up windows of imagination of what this could be?
Mm-hmm.
Who was who? What was a Clone War? What did it entail? What was it all about?
What was it? What was the reason why it was named the Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm. And why were the Jedi fighting in it? And many of us thought the clones were the bad guys. Back in the day. It's like, what's with these clones? What's so important about these clones? It's like, were they fighting the clones? Well, we find out later. Spoiler alert: they weren't, but they got massacred by the clones.
Yeah, that's true. And I do want to say hello to Shorty Short. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Pop Talk. We're about to wrap things up, but we were just talking about the prequel comic for Rebel Moon, and I'm just going to keep saying it, gentlemen. Why do we need a prequel comic with it? This could have been the first movie. This could have been the way you introduce audiences to these characters.
Sometimes a prequel story is nice to have as a filler, not an explainer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get a little bit more nuances and learn more things, but it's not. You don't need to read it to know what's going on. That's what's important.
Or you could even have a passing reference in the first movie, second movie, or say there was a third movie, a passing reference to something that happened that's relevant to what's going on in the current story.
Mm-hmm. And if you opt to go back and show it in a prequel, that's fun. That's fine. And again, it's filling out the universe, but it's not necessary.
Right.
I mean, honestly, we did not need to have the prequel trilogy. Honestly, we didn't.
We really didn't, but I don't mind that we did.
Doing what it did. Now, no, but the thing is, it's not a swipe at the prequel trilogy. It's just we didn't need it. It's nice that we got it. And we did see the event. And we did see Anakin Skywalker. We did see what Luke's father was like. It was great. But a lot of that was already filled in. Now this was covering up those points and giving us more nuances of what was going on. But as it goes, we could have gone on until even now without a prequel trilogy.
Right.
And it would not affect anything. It would not affect anything. That's what's so brilliant about the original trilogy and how they had that brought out. Well, it didn't hurt the fact that Lucas didn't know if he was going to do it in the first place or was able to do it. But then we got the prequel, and it's like, despite you love, hate, or lukewarm to it, at least it told those stories, and it was still Star Wars.
It was. Yeah.
But storytelling wise, we don't need it. But storytelling wise, it's a nice addition. You prequel simp cash money.
I enjoy the prequels. I have, some people will always tell me, "Oh, I thought they were perfect." I'm like, "You thought the Phantom Menace was perfect?" I mean, I don't think it's terrible. I've seen it even in 3D with my brother. I think it was still overall fun. Little Annie was driving me nuts and Jar Jar, but overall, there's some good battles and some interesting stuff. And I don't know. The Metachlorian thing doesn't bother me either, but it bothers other people, and that's fine. But they are. Why do we have to explain this? It could just be a mystical thing in the Force, but we could go on and on about that. It's just like who shot first, and when they asked him in that Reddit Q&A, and Harrison said, "I don't give a shit." It's still funny to me.
See, notice what happens when he was perceiving I was dissing on the prequel trilogy, and he had to right away, boom, the shield was out. Simp. And I wasn't dissing the prequel trilogy.
But I still think Revenge of the Sith overall is a great movie. I really do.
That's my favorite of the prequels.
Mine too.
And yes, part of it is because it introduced Anakin as Darth Vader.
Cash thinks it's a perfect bookend with The Last Jedi. Sit down, watch the Revenge of the Dead, then watch The Last Jedi. You can see the magic between the two and how they influence.
Dude, once again, we're talking about Star Wars again. You watch, it's just like the Star Trek stuff with JJ. Like, you can like it, you can not like it, but what does it really do for you? Does it make you feel much? Because if it doesn't, as I said, you can go back, in my opinion, always talk about all the old Star Wars, talk about all the old Star Trek, a lot of it, except like Star Trek 5, but I don't want to say that too many times because a certain Phil McCracken will show up. But
wait a minute. Did you mention Star Trek 5? I think you did.
Right? I did. Here we go. There's a clip. I think we got a clip.
Heard you say Star Trek 5.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship?
Yeah. Oh, Star Trek 5.
If Bill were on the panel, he'd be saying anything he wants.
Yep. Oh, he would be. But no, I just, like I said, there's other people who like, I love the sequel trilogy, but have you actually given the other stuff, the older stuff, a chance? But that's why, I may start even presenting more questions on social media. It's like, you guys like Disney Star Wars, but would you ever give something other kind of sci-fi a chance? Would you give Babylon 5 a chance? Ever? Would you ever give that a chance? So, yeah.
Yeah, we've enjoyed talking about Babylon 5.
Yes.
On Baron's channel for season 1, season 2. Now we're in season 3 because of how good the stories were, how good the characters were developed. Even characters like Vesper, who you don't like, you don't like him at all.
Right. No.
But you can still see where the character's coming from.
Yes. Yeah. You can. And there's even things in episode or season 5, actually, I should say, to like. Except I can't.
Except a certain song, because you know how Phil is about that song.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that arc very much. I just was like, what are we doing? And yeah, but there's still some good stuff there in season 5 that I found. I'm like, okay. I can't say I hate the season overall. I just can't say it.
No, because there is that silver lining in season 5 of good episodes.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
You hear that, Crit? There is. Well, he agreed after a while.
We're going to hear from Crit later. I can't believe you guys think there's a silver lining. Come on, Pacific. What are you smoking? No, really, there is a silver lining.
Yeah, there is.
Season 7 of Next Generation isn't the greatest season of Next Gen. But there are some good episodes. Sub Rosa isn't one of them.
Oh, I thought that was the shining example.
And with sci-fi lately, have you guys found any new sci-fi that you've been enjoying?
Not really.
Yeah.
Touchdown Patriots, I know that much.
Yeah, my brother, we're watching the game. It's crazy. Yeah,
and Shorty Short says Stargate Atlantis was solid. Yeah, it was.
Never got into Stargate much, but maybe I need to watch it again.
You know what I would do? I would start with the movie with Kurt Russell, and then work into the series with Richard Dean Anderson.
Okay.
Start with season 1 and go through the whole series, and then start with Stargate Atlantis.
Interesting. Okay, I might do that.
And then go to Stargate up your ass and to the right.
Don't listen to Baron. Don't listen to him.
Well, that was a good show.
But this is what Barrett's saying right now with that comment. Let me just find the clip.
Got a clip?
Here we go.
Relax, will you? For crying out, what's getting to you? I'm breaking your balls a little bit. That's all. I'm only kidding with you.
That's great.
I love this. As we're going along here, winding up, we were talking about Killers of the Flower Moon earlier, and I just playing around on the Twitterverse, and this comes up. Some lady, they're showing her TikTok. She's all upset that she's not going to see this movie, claiming she's a Native American or Native Indian. But the thing is there's nothing about her that looks at it at all. She looks like she's straight from Germany, right? And she's all upset because this film wasn't done by Native people; it was done by Martin Scorsese.
Oh boy, who cares?
So don't see this film. Well, that's that's how stupid. That's how stupid people are out there. That's how fucking stupid people are out there because they don't understand that just because it's not our ethnicity doesn't mean we don't appreciate our feel something for suffering. That is supposed to be us coming all together and understand. But because we didn't have this because it was the representation, the director. I'm so upset. My fake tears. Don't you see my fake tears? How dare you? I mean, I got some. When I go to the bar, I get some Native American in me, if you know what I mean. That's about the only Native American I get in me. But it's like it's like this is so disgusting. I know all about the culture, and it's just because I got a throat culture from one of them. It's like that's the thing. It's a Martin Scorsese out there.
Yeah, well, this is what I have to say to that woman. Let me just get the clip. I had it a moment ago and I lost it.
I say that with love.
I know you do. I know you do.
Lighten up, Francis.
I think someone should call Elizabeth Warren and see what she has to say about this.
Well, yeah. Go down that road, right? and yes, Ivan, we know you spammed us with this earlier. Thank you. So, gentlemen, is there anything coming up on your respective channels that folks here on the YouTube side and Rumble side should be interested in?
Yeah, we'll find out. Let's see if I go crazy again.
Yeah. Go ahead, Baron.
You want to? It's great. Yeah. See, I can say about that because I am.
Okay.
Yes. See, that's what I would expect from a non. They're crazy. You know, I'm going to do my bad Londo impression.
I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm going to drop trowel and have googly eyes down there and then sing Sneaky Snake from Tom T. Hall. Sneaky Snake likes right there. No, I'm not that crazy yet. But when I do go that crazy,
so I wouldn't be surprised if you were.
Well, it'd be there. That be it. The band Hanner coming. Baron had his Sneaky Snake out there. Didn't look like much of a snake, really. It kind of, that wasn't really. I wouldn't call that a snake. Maybe a pimple.
After his run-in with the Atomic Wedgie Bandit, Baron is going to do the next 2 shows with his voice 3 octaves higher.
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. How dare you? How dare you? I want him banned. I want him out of here. My feelings are hurt. That's about as hurt as my cats.
Wait a minute. When did Mickey Mouse go into Baron Orman Tagge's cottage?
Here I am. That's right. I've been an inside agent. I've been giving Iger all the information. They're coming after you.
Well, I
Mouse
have a
Patrol.
question. I have a question for the mouse. It's a serious question.
What would you say you do here?
I'm going to be sending out my special forces, the Junior Woodchucks. You're done for.
The hell you say?
I didn't realize I sounded like Mickey.
Oh, it's great.
Well, I just figured since we haven't really been playing too much clips in today's episode, it's time to start playing the clips.
Yeah, we gotta play some.
Well, yeah, I'm still thinking in a few hours I'm going to be playing some more Ratchet and Clank. I did play that on Monday, so I'm thinking later today I'm going to play some more of that. Been having a lot of fun.
8 hours. 8 hours, folks. He played Ratchet and Clank. And he had Phil in the voice chat.
I did.
Wow. For 8 hours, he had Phil.
He came back at least a few
for 8
times.
hours.
So
Yep.
let this be inspiration to you all. If Cash can play with himself for 8, you can too.
Play the game.
Can't take Baron anywhere.
I know, man. He wants to make it gross. How dare you?
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? What do you mean gross? You want them gross?
Oh, so now it's going to be Disney's Baron Orman Tagge's Phantom Legacy.
And then of course, next week Friday we'll be doing some more. We'll be doing some more Myth Force. So
Nice.
I'm hoping we can go maybe another hour or so. That would be nice, and get more stuff for you guys. Get closer
Very
to
nice.
3 stars.
Yes. I know. I got to keep doing the Myth Force grind to get up to level 3 instead
We'll
of
get there.
staying at level 2. I know.
You'll get
I know.
there. But definitely next week I'm gonna start Dishonored. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, nice.
Never finished that game. So
Oh, that's not hard. You should be used to that, being dishonored. How often do we do the turn our back to you?
Look at this promotion for
Hang on,
Burger
Charles.
King right here. Or no, it doesn't say Burger King, does it?
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
Well, it's burger, but the king.
It's Baron King. It's Baron King.
Baron King, yes.
It's the Biscuit Baron. The Biscuit Baron.
That's right.
So Baron, seriously, what's coming up on Baron Orman Tagge's Phantom Legacy?
Well, I'm hoping that we can do our Babylon 5 stream on Saturday. Sorry about missing the last one. I was a little.
It's all good.
I was a little
No
under.
worries, brother.
So
It's all good, man.
I was in that white jacket in that padded room for a little bit there. But I feel better now. I'm just in the padded room.
Wait. I thought you wore the white jacket because you knew that there's a padded room here on Pop Talk because we all drive each other insane.
Mm-hmm. Particularly Phil. But hopefully, 7 o'clock Saturday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on the Disney's Baron's Orman Tagge's Phantom Legacy. I wonder if I can get away.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, Disney's. Yeah, I've been bought by the mouse. Ahsoka has been the best Star Wars to come out in, I mean, since the Book of Boba Fett. So I mean, keep She-Hulk.
How about new?
Hey, I hadn't kicked anyone out yet, so it was bound to happen. And Spartacus says Burger Baron may not be a king, but it tastes better with their secret white sauce. Just takes 8 hours to make. Yeah, it's that secret sauce. That real secret sauce.
Well, yeah, I mean, it takes Cash playing 8 hours with himself, 8 hours on that. So,
and T-Gap says Baron was taken out by Mickey Mouse. I hope it was at least a nice restaurant, and to go with it, the show.
mm-hmm.
All right, and anything else, Baron, coming up on your channel?
No, just that, and of course, hang out with you guys and whoever.
All right. And as far as PACIFIC414 is concerned, well, Tuesday, I'll be playing a certain game that will require stealth. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, Well, when it comes to stealth and me, stealth is optional. But the game I'll be playing Tuesday, stealth is required. That's right. I'll be playing Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Metal
you were
Gear
playing
Solid. No,
Oh, Penny.
it's Metal Gear.
That game better be a dang good port too.
Oh, come on. Come on, Cash. You're letting me down. I'm saying Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Yes.
No, you're letting me down. You're supposed to say, you knew?
Am I? Are you
God,
sure?
man, I can't take these guys anywhere. I really can't.
Put his change in my piggy bank any day. Cash Money can put his change in my piggy bank any day.
But at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, I will be playing the original Metal Gear Solid from the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, which comes out on Tuesday.
Yep.
So that'll be happening. And then Wednesday will be the Wednesday edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. And I'm going to let you all know now. And I'm letting Baron and Cash know right now. I'm going to be trying it with Talk Studio on Wednesday. So it might be a little rough. It might be a little rough. I want to give you guys a heads up on that. And then Thursday, because I had so much fun playing the game this past Tuesday, and thank you again, Baron, for gifting it to me, I'll be continuing with Cuphead.
Awesome.
I see that.
Easy, man. Screw you guys. I'm out of here. Easy, man. Screw you guys. I'm out of here.
And then Friday, I'll be over on Phantom Hooligans with Baron and Cash and possibly Phil or Paul.
Yep.
And then Saturday, I'll be over on Baron Orman Tagge's Phantom Legacy with Baron and Cash and Phil and Crit.
We've been moving around a lot because we're having a lot of fun. So
yeah, we are. And we'll be talking about the next 5 episodes of Babylon 5 or however many episodes we go through, because some episodes it's like there's really not much going on with this episode. So this is pretty much what goes on, then move on to the next.
Well, I guarantee you, we're going to get into the trilogy of episodes in this one, where I think it's going to take a lot of talking about. And so this is when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. But before we leave here, I don't see anybody over on the Rumble side as far as comments are concerned. But if you were lurking, thank you very much. Listening, thank you very much. Or just watching and not saying anything, thank you very much. Now, for those of you who are over on the YouTube side, I want to say thank you to everybody, starting with Shorty Short. Thank you for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. Good to see a new face in the chat. And we also had Laura Thoth, who was listening.
Oh, hi, Lord Thoth. I didn't even see you come in. Huh.
Leia Rose, the princess of YouTube and the president and sole member of the Phil McCracken fan club.
Well, he beat me to it.
And of course, Pop Culture Mechanic was here. Thank you very much, Pop. We had Lord Crit of Everest Productions. Yes, hello, Lord Crit. Thank you very much. And of course, everybody's favorite Norwegian. Well, it skipped on me. I was going to highlight Jason. Okay, Padawannabe, thank you. Thank you, Padawannabe. And also, Padawannabe, thank you for hopping on the member stream yesterday. For anyone who is a member of PACIFIC414, the next member stream will be on Saturday, November 11th.
So sign
at
up.
2 p.m.
and join.
Eastern. Yeah. Yeah. We have great conversations. We talk about all sorts of topics. It's nothing like Pop Talk. I might say a few things, but I leave it to all of you to come up with the conversation. It's your stream. Well, yeah. You hop on there sometimes, Baron. Boobies. Yes, Baron. We all like them. And of course, we had DJ Ronnie G, the Turtle King.
Nerd.
And of course, everybody's favorite troll. But he's a good guy. Phil McCracken.
He's still a bad troll.
I hate you all.
He does. And of course, Ivan Yurdik. And of course, everybody's favorite Norwegian, Jason Fox of 540 Studios. And Killy Chow was here. Roll Tide, Killy Chow, Roll Tide. A good friend of the channel was here. Pops was here. It's good to see you, Pops. And I really did enjoy your What's Your Story video that you posted on your channel this morning. It really brings everything down to earth. And I highly recommend that if you haven't subscribed to Pop's channel, that you do so.
Do it. Do it.
We had Dempsey here, the drunken poet. You know, Dempsey and Big Daddy T-Gap. What kind of trouble can happen in the chat? Stay tuned.
Too much.
And of course, everybody's favorite penguin besides Punk Waddle. Besides Punk Waddle, everyone. Low spec Linux laptop. Sparta Chris was here. Thank you, Sparta Chris. And everybody's favorite soap opera writer, Big Daddy T-Gap Steve. Big Daddy T-Gap.
Hey, Big Daddy. How you doing?
And of course, Baron was here first. He wants more emojis. I'm working on them, brother. I'm working on them.
I can't believe it was the first one.
Oh, and
at 11:38.
I also want to say hello to Lester San Jose, the Skeptic Tank. Thank you for listening, brother. And no problem with that. You know, Pop Talk, we may be full of jokes, full of fun. But as I've mentioned before, we can get down to the nitty gritty. We can get down to serious topics.
Yeah. Which is why there wasn't a lot of clips today.
Mm-hmm. But thank you, Lester, for.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And we're done with the list.
I don't know who any of those people are.
Oh, come on, Baron. You know who they are. See, I can't take Baron anywhere. He's the problem child on Pop Talk.
You know what really grinds my gears?
He's the one, as I'm driving the car, he's trying to take off his seatbelt and he's hitting cash with whatever's in the back seat. Baron, knock it off. Baron, don't make me pull over. Don't make me turn this car around. Baron, you're sitting up front with me. Baron, don't touch.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Well, Lester, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining the member stream yesterday. And again, all the channel members, the next one will be on November 11th. And if you're not a channel member, consider becoming one for only $5 a month. You can come on the member stream and we can talk about a whole variety of topics.
And for that $5 a month, you'll be helping starving YouTubers out there. And you will also get a personalized photograph of the YouTuber that you are supporting that you can hang up and be inspired by.
Wait, I didn't agree to those terms. Nobody wants to wake up to my image going, oh my God, get that away from me. It scares
this way
me.
It keeps him on YouTube. By doing this, it'll keep him focused on YouTube and out of society. For $5 a month, you'll be doing justice to the world.
Or for $5 a month, you could just have a nice conversation with your fellow members, and that ain't such a bad deal. You don't have to worry about me putting down any rules like I do for the open panels.
Which channel has that? I want to sign up for that.
What, the rules? This channel has it.
No, sit around with with the, sitting in there with members and all that. What channel? I'd like to sit back and have that. What channel would that be on? I mean,
this channel, Pacific 414.
I thought we were all abuse.
Yes,
we are all abuse. Okay.
The problem. Okay. The problem child. See, Baron. Cash is behaving. You're doing more of this.
Then you're crazy.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're a nerd.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're an idiot.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know.
Yeah, but the thing is if this was Wednesday, Cash would be saving himself up for going to Rumble, where he knows he can get away with this stuff and not have to worry about getting kicked off because it's on the Rumble side only. So there.
Yeah.
I'm
true.
brave enough to do it here. See? Who's got the cojones? I got the cojones. Cash does not have cojones. I have the cojones. When was the last time you got kicked out, Mr.
You know
Cojone Money?
You have the ring. And I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Now let's see how well you handle it.
This is what I think about your response, Baron.
If you've got an issue, here's a tissue.
How about no?
There we go.
Behave. It's okay, Baron. Badly is a form of behavior.
Oh, I know.
Behaving badly.
I know. Men
Yeah,
behaving
yeah,
badly. There was the English show, and then they tried to do the American version.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But, ladies and gentlemen, because I know we do have some ladies in the audience who may not be saying anything, but they are lurking. I want to thank you all for being here this Sunday afternoon for the Sunday edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button on both the YouTube side and Rumble side. Share out the stream and consider subscribing to not just the panelists, but also to your fellow members of the chat. And until next time, remember, I'm not just a baseball guy, I'm an all-around guy.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
That even is.
Pop Talk is where it's at, baby.
You don't, Duke.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your support of both channels.
Mm-hmm.
Respect my authority.
Have a great Sunday.